Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in for tonight's very special live stream. Happy Star Wars Day. It is May 4th. It is the evening of May 4th. Hopefully, you guys have been able to watch a lot of Star Wars, play some Star Wars games, sit back, relax, and enjoy your day. I've been asked over the years to rank the Star Wars movies. I might have mentioned this a few times over the years on different podcasts and streams, although I've never actually ranked them professionally like this is. With the tier list and all that. It's not real unless it's the tier list. Oh my god, this jacket is hot. Whew. But that's exactly what we're going to do today. But I want to say hello to all you lovely people before we get into this. Ghetto Finger Gaming. Looks like you are number one, my friend. Cutthroat is here. Jeff Morris, aka Mo, is here. Brandon, thank you so much to you and Jenny for the support, the constant support, man. You guys are gonna make me tear up. Honestly, you really are. Thank you so much. It's unbelievable. From Lisa and myself, thank you. Nestor is here. This one will be controversial. Gonna get some popcorn. Yes, it might be. Dragon Ball. May the fourth be with you. And you too, my friend. I can't wait to get into this. Jenny is here. Greetings. Bobo Wave, is that you from Twitchland? I believe it is. Again, I'm so bad with the names. And Jeff is here. Hi, everybody. So before we start this, okay, let me just say this. This is 100% my thoughts and my opinion. Like I said in the description of this video, this is not fact. This is just my thoughts. Once again, my opinion. There is no right or wrong answer here. Please, I want this to be as interactive as possible. I want to talk with you guys. Let's discuss this as a group, okay? But let's keep it civilized. I know Star Wars is a hot button topic for all. My channel's pretty good with this stuff, but please be respectful to others. We can poke fun at each other, no problem. But let's keep it civilized. Lilith is here as well. Felt a disturbance in the Schwartz. Retro Roamers, Lisa, everyone is checking in. This is great. This jacket is going to come off soon because I'm boiling. Whew. This live stream is sponsored by bullairs.com. If you guys don't know who Bullairs are, here is a little trailer for their product that is actually launched today on May 4th. Check this out. How sweet is that? Bullairs.com right now, guys. You guys can get your very own pair of these shoes inspired by Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. And I'm happy to say that I do have the product on hand. So we're going to do like a little mini unboxing in the midway of this broadcast. So I get to show these off. You guys will be blown away. The products that Bull Airs makes. It's just absolutely incredible. Okay, are we ready? There is no particular order here except one. Wizzy Wizard, you're here. I knew you'd be here, brother. Good to see you. Let's add to the stream. This is the meter. You guys know this when Chad and I do this every Friday night. So this is the tier meter. S is like the elite. You have to be pretty special to get an S tier. That being said, A is pretty much a perfect rank. S is just a cut above the rest. F is garbage. And E, Chad and I decided that E is kind of like the humiliation tier. It's not even worth going to the bottom of the dumpster. It's not even worth talking about. So that's what the E tier is. Okay. Are we ready? Let's open this up right now. Let's make it easy. Let's start here. Let me get rid of some of these. They changed my template a little bit here, but that's okay. Let's start with Star Wars A New Hope. 1977, where it all began. Guys, please get all your thoughts in right now. I'd like to hear what you have to say about the very first installment of Star Wars, the GIM. Wow. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. That is unbelievable. Thank you so much for the support. The GIM says Last Jedi, F tier, or I riot. We'll have to see. The Last Jedi is definitely here, my friend, and please stick around and give us your thoughts. I can't thank you enough for supporting the channel. Thanks, man. Greetings all. Jay, looking forward to the stream. I have no complaints about any Star Wars films. Enjoy them all. And that's fair. Realistically, again, before we get into this, there really is there really bad Star Wars? I think Brandon will say that there is, but we'll get to that. A New Hope, 1977. I was 2 years old. I was told by my mom that I was in the theater for this. She did take me. I have absolutely zero recollection of seeing this in the theater. I really don't. This is where it all began. Retro Romer says the original, the best. It's perfect. Mo says the movie that started the whole franchise. This is still perfect. S tier all the way. All right. Well, let's start with the positives. Of course, as far as nostalgia goes, does it get any more nostalgic than the original Star Wars? I don't know. Possibly. There are a little minor things about this movie that I don't like. I think we all know how great it is. I'm going to talk a little bit about the things I dislike about A New Hope. You guys will find that this is a little bit lower in my list. Please don't light the torches. Don't light me on fire. Don't riot at my house, please. These are just one little man's thoughts. The pacing. I know we're world building at the beginning of A New Hope, but the pacing of the movie itself is incredibly slow. I'm not saying that is a game breaker or anything like that. Just for me, when I have friends that have never seen Star Wars, for me, it's always a little tough just to put this on, but because besides the first blockade runner scene, which you see Vader and that's all great, the rest of it is a little slow until you get to Luke. Now, it's just a small chunk. It's like 10 minutes. The 3PO and R2 stuff, you guys know what I'm talking about. It tends to drag a little bit, in my opinion. I really don't have anything else bad to say about this. People hammer on the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader lightsaber scene being not that great. I think it's one of the best lightsaber scenes in all of Star Wars. You have a tired old man and a half destroyed, burnt up cyborg. They're not going to be doing flips and stuff like that like you see in the Phantom Menace. They're just not going to. It's more realistic. And that's what I like about that fight. Much like most of the fights with Vader and Luke, they're just more realistic to me. There's a couple of clashes and then they back off. It's not this huge choreographed piece. I think there is a place for that in Star Wars, as we'll see in later episodes. But right here with The New Hope, I love the lightsaber fight. Man, I feel like there's so much to talk about, guys. I hope you have a drink. You're settled in. Let's get this discussion going. This is not going to be a short stream, so stick with me as long as you can. Wizzy Wizard says, execute those friends, Jay. The game says, did he say he had friends that didn't see Star Wars? Believe it or not, I have. Also, not the same friend, but from the same group of friends, did not see any of the Indiana Jones either. They shall remain nameless because I don't want them to be executed. You think the fencing, the Darth Maul stuff is fake as F. TK, what's going on, buddy? I was hoping to see you here. Doing a Star Wars centered stream tonight. Absolutely, man. It's May 4th, and we're going to celebrate the franchise that we all love. Okay, some shining moments in A New Hope for me. Right off the top, Greedo versus Han Solo, original cut. I'm not talking about DVD edits. I'm not talking about Blu-ray edits. I'm talking about straight up A New Hope, OG style. Greedo meets Han Solo in the cantina in one of the most epic cowboy western showdowns in cinematic history. I was really toying with the idea of cutting together footage, guys, but to be quite honest, I don't want to get a copyright strike from YouTube, especially with Disney and Star Wars. They are very, very, very particular in what can be shown and heard. So I don't have any video footage. So we're going to use our imaginations. Otherwise, I was going to do video clips for what I was talking about. I just don't think it makes sense. Okay. Greedo says going somewhere solo, and Han basically backs off. He's like, okay, Greedo. And one of the greatest performances of all time by the greatest actor in American film history, who's Harrison Ford, by the way. He's basically like, okay, trying to sweet talk his way. Greedo's like, you owe Jabba some money. Maybe you should give him some money over here. And he's like, I don't have the money with me. Come on. And he's trying to act all coy. And then when Greedo says to him, well, maybe I'll just take your ship instead, that's when you see the switch in Han. And he looks him right in the eye and says, over my dead body. The whole time he's underneath the table in these great shots we get where he's undoing his blaster, blows away Greedo. Everyone says cold blood. It's not cold blood. He was being hunted. God knows what would have happened to him. Well, I guess we kind of saw what would happen to Han, right? If Jabba got his hands on him. I'm not saying Han, didn't maybe deserve it for whatever shady dealings he was doing. He owed the gangster money. But that being said, that is one of my favorite scenes, the unaltered scene between Greedo and Han. Let me know some of your favorite scenes. I'm going to catch up on the chat here. Have you seen the fan-made Obi-Wan versus Vader fight? Yes, I have a long time. That came out a couple years ago. Really great. The Star Wars fans are doing some really, really great content. And in my opinion, kind of fixing what Disney has done. Wizzy Wizard, thanks, brother, for the super chat. I appreciate it so much, man. Your help supporting me and my family in this career that I'm making here on YouTube. So thank you so much. It's much appreciated. And it's good to see you, dude. It's good to see you here. We're going to have to get you on another stream for sure. Okay. Music, top notch. The ceremony music at the end, that's still one of my all-time favorite songs in all of Star Wars, not to mention the end credits of A New Hope. Legendary stuff. I really can't think of anything bad. If you were to show someone who's never seen Star Wars for the first time, you just show them Star Wars. That's all they would need to see. Okay, you wouldn't have to worry about the prequels, the sequels. You show them Star Wars. It could be an isolated film. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. The evil is punished but not fully destroyed. It's so great. I mean, it's so great. I really don't have anything bad to say. Guys, get your votes in right now, and thank you. Let's save our votes till the end of the rants. Let me know where you would place A New Hope. I thought it would be only fitting here on May 4th to start off with the one that started it all. So let me know where you guys want to put A New Hope, where you think it belongs. Remember, S tier is elite status, okay? You can use it as many times as you want, but just remember that. Lisa says A. Ginny with the A. TJ, what's up, dude? Good morning. And greetings again, Ghetto Finger. Good to see you back. Rob Vegas is here, ladies and gentlemen. Retro Roamers S tier. Dale A. Ghetto Finger A. TK says B, maybe. Fair, fair. And Damien with the A tier. Eric, what's going on, dude? How are you? Good to see you. S tier all the way. Well, you guys really, yeah. You really got me thinking here. Nestor, sorry, says A. And Mo with the S tier, the Gim with the A. Okay, guys. Well, where would we be without A New Hope? Well, we wouldn't be anywhere. I mean, this is the one that started it all. For me, I would place it on the A tier. Okay. Again, S tier is God tier stuff. I'm putting A New Hope on the A tier because it's so important, not only to Star Wars, but to film history. If we did not have this film, if we did not have this made by George Lucas, if we didn't have every film studio turn their back on this one, who knows where the film industry would be right now? George Lucas, regardless of what you think of his writing, of his directing, is an absolute visionary. I'm sure you're going to hear me say that a lot on this stream, but he absolutely is. A tier for A New Hope. Let's move on here. All right, let's get into it. I just like to put that up there and get everyone's reactions. Zazel, what's up, brother? Good to see you, dude. How are you? Good morning to you. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was released in 2005 and was the third movie to come out in the prequel trilogy, the Star Wars series. Okay. I like to start off with the positives here. TK says easily the best of the prequels. Brandon says I liked it. I don't care what anyone says. I agree with that. I love it. I don't know if it was the best of the prequels, but we'll get to that. The Revenge of the Sith is absolutely incredible. So right away, we're gonna get to Phantom Menace. We're gonna get to Attack of the Clones, and I know what you guys are gonna say. You're gonna say the acting is terrible. So let me defend all the actors. And I know it's only some performances. Let me defend, okay? George Lucas is a visionary. He's a pioneer. He's on the cutting edge of technology for filmmaking. Correct? Correct. During this time, 99, actually before that, when he was doing the special editions, so 97, 98 to 2005, digital technology, period, in George's eyes, looked like they were the future. We know today that digital graphics, computer graphics are in everything. It's just a part of filmmaking now. It's a part of television. It's part of everything. They don't age so well, okay? They don't. And if you watch Revenge of the Sith on Blu-ray compared to watching it on DVD, you'll see exactly what I mean. It looks pretty great on DVD still, but the better the resolution you get, the more holes you see. Okay, my point to all this is that, Chad, what's up, buddy? I'll get to you in just one quick sec. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. The point is, he thought that digital effects would most likely take the place of practical sets. We all know now that that is not the case, but come on, back then that's what he thought. So you have actors like Natalie Portman, who was very young, Hayden Christensen, who is super young, Ewan McGregor, who is a little experienced. I mean, he had some good stuff under his belt. Star Wars really made his career take off. You have all these younger-ish actors and some veterans like Ian McDermott, Sam Jackson. In these scenes, let's take, a scene from this movie. So let's take Christopher Lee, who's a legend. Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen in the opening scene of Revenge of the Sith. Okay. They're in the throne room of the ship to rescue the Chancellor. There is maybe one or two things that are actually practical: the staircase, a couple of railings, maybe the frame of the window. Everything else is digital. So, as a director, you have to direct your actors to envision basically everything. Now, if you look at the Marvel movies nowadays, this is just standard procedure. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a perfect example of pretty much like 90% all digital. Okay. Digital backgrounds, digital everything. That's normal now. Back then, it wasn't. So I can only imagine, I'm defending these actors again. I can only imagine what it would be like to show up on a set and you have to use your imagination to such great lengths. It's tough. It's very tough. I'll always defend Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, all those guys. Were their performances perfect? No, they weren't. But you see at Star Wars Celebration, you see now the backlash of the prequels has happened. And when Hayden Christensen shows up to these events, people just go nuts. I think we need to ease back just a little bit on crucifying these actors. We saw what happened with Kelly Marie Tran. We'll get to the Force Awakens. But they're just actors, ladies and gentlemen. Articulated Chad with the super chat. Dude, thank you so much. I love you, brother. To one of my favorite fellow Star Wars fans and to everyone else here. Why would you flying solo, Bardo? Well, honestly, I wanted to get a few guests on this, but to be quite honest, I wanted to give my final say on all the movies because people have asked me for so long, where do I place these? So, as much as I love the voting that we do, Chad, you and I, for sure, it's not that I don't want anyone here. I just wanted to give my personal opinion and place them where I thought they should go, so everyone could see that. Here we go. Let's get into the chat here. Wizzy Wizard says George was an egomaniac. Okay, that's fair. Lisa hasn't seen the prequels. That's fair too. I love the chat. You guys are just doing great. Boba Wave says B. Yeah, this is great. Zazel, thank you very much for bringing this up. There was a video that came out a couple of years ago. Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks, created this video, okay? And it was basically, he was talking about this bridge. I'm just remembering it rough, and I've talked about this on podcasts before. It was this bridge that he used to go to. Let's just say it was in New York. I don't know where it was. When he was a young actor, and he'd walk up and down this bridge. It would give him inspiration, blah, blah, blah. So he lands the part as Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars. Oh my God, you've made it. You're a character in Star Wars. Like, you are immortalized in the greatest film franchise of all time, the greatest pop culture phenomenon of all time. Except he wasn't. He was made a laughing stock. He was literally crucified. He got death threats. He got people mocking him in the street. He got made fun of. He was the worst thing, quote unquote, that ever happened to Star Wars. So he made this video where he talked about one time he was walking across this bridge and he stopped and he actually wanted to jump. He wanted to take his own life. Think about that. Let that sit. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. Look what happened to poor Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd, I believe, is in prison right now. He was teased and made fun of so much because he was Anakin Skywalker. He's just a kid. I mean, you have grown adults attacking this kid. He's a friggin' kid. What do you want him to act like, Marlon Brando? Like, it's crazy. Oh, he has a wooden performance. Oh my God, he's a kid. Let it go. Anyway, so I defend Ahmed Best, Kelly Marie Tran, all these guys, Daisy Ridley, all these wonderful actors that have been attacked by so-called fans. It's absolutely ridiculous, and there's no excuse to do that. It's a job, for the love of God. It's just a job, man. This is just a movie. I wanted to get that out of the way, okay? Not to put a somber tone on the stream. I'm trying not to, but I think it's important that stuff gets addressed. It is sad. We're getting to it, buddy. Brandon wants everyone to know this. He's told me multiple times today. Rian Johnson is the worst thing to ever happen to Star Wars. Well, you got to remember too, you like Jar Jar. I like Jar Jar. I have a fully clothed, life-size statue of Jar Jar Binks in my house, and I'm proud of it. I've had it since 1999. George Lucas had young kids at the time, and he put in characters that were for kids. It's just really as simple as that. That's it. Back to Revenge of the Sith. This is the climax. Okay, what do we like? The lightsaber duel. I was just saying how much I loved the Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight from A New Hope because it's two broken warriors fighting each other. I thought it was great. This is the opposite. So you have two knights going against each other at the top of their game who have, I believe, the same style. I don't know for sure. Someone's going to actually me, and that's okay. Don't apologize for Brandon at all. No, it's good. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. This is great. What was I saying? I believe they have the same style, and you can even see that in a few of their moves in the lightsaber duel at the end, where they almost contradict each other, and they do the same move and freeze on it. And it's just this power struggle. So you have one fight to the other. I think they're both fantastic for different reasons. The score in this part by John Williams is so incredible. Like, it just makes me lose my friggin' mind. It's so good. Things I dislike. Not so much dislike, but let's talk about General Grievous. I feel like he was a character that was shoehorned in there at the last minute for real no reason. I think Count Dooku should have played that role. They got rid of Dooku way too quick, and I know that they're they're trying to show us Anakin's grown. He's the most powerful one. He basically decimates Dooku like he's nothing. Where in the last one, Dooku owned him. I get what they're trying to do, but I just feel like Grievous, as cool as I think he is, I think he was shoehorned in there. Chad, once again with the super chat. Dude, thank you. I like seeing you solo. That wasn't what I meant. I thought you had someone with you. And actually, the first movie is S tier. Yeah, no, I was thinking about doing a big panel on this, honestly. Yeah, but I just wanted to give my thoughts 100% here on this. Point Break Ketis, welcome to the stream, my friend. Revenge of the Sith was pretty great. Solid B. Get your votes in, guys. Photo Viper, how's it going? Grievous was way cooler than Dookie. Yeah, we'll get to the movie with the Dooku Yoda fight. I think Dooku looked cool. Christopher Lee is a great actor, but I don't really like him in this. I actually think Dooku is better in the Clone Wars cartoon. I think that. I think there's some great scenes with him and Obi-Wan, but anyway, we'll get to Attack of the Clones. Get your votes in. Where are we going to put Revenge of the Sith? What do you guys think? For much of the Clone Wars, Anakin used Form 5. Oh, see, I'm getting actually by Jeff. Darth Vader also used lightsaber Form 5. The idea behind this technique was the end fight before it could be allowed to begin. That's pretty cool. TK, who's in the chat, knows a lot about the forms as well. I never bothered to study them. I'm a bad Jedi. Bad Jedi. Ginny says B for Revenge of the Sith. Brandon says A all day, baby. Damien with the B. Mo says B. Wizzy Wizard says 4. C? Photo Viper. All prequels are B. They're all equal. Interesting. You'd say they're all equal. Mr. Vegas. I dig this one. Let's go with the B tier. Shouldn't have killed Maul till Anakin fell, so he could have struck him down. That would have been a good revenge plot. Dragon Ball with the B. TK says, I wish Grievous was more scary and dangerous. Yeah, I mean, as much as we all love that cartoon that came out, which was kind of like a prequel to Revenge of the Sith, we got to see why Grievous had that cough. They made it was a beautiful story. We got to see Grievous go into the Capitol on Coruscant, steal Palpatine right out from under the Jedi and all that. And then they made that not canon anymore. So I don't know, man. This canon not canon thing is really annoying to me. Tough Nerd Toys, what is going on? A tier, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hugo with the A tier. All right, Revenge of the Sith, where are you going? I love this movie. Like I said, I love Hayden Christensen. He's a fellow Canadian from Toronto. A tier. 100%. This is going on the A tier. Is it the best of the prequel movies? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Hopefully, you guys don't yell at me too much. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Chad says, "Hey, Rodimus Prime, welcome to All Art One." A. Oh, here we go. Okay, Nestor, I was waiting for it. Boo! Hiss, hiss. The first of this sequel trilogies. You guys remember when we heard the mumblings, the whispers that Lucas had actually sold Star Wars? What? He didn't only just sell Star Wars, he sold Lucasfilm, which meant everything under the sun, including Indiana Jones. Oh my God. Can this be true? I remember where I was at the time where I was working when I picked up my phone on social media and I saw George signing over to whoever the president of Disney was at the time. And I was like, oh my God, no. Please. It can't be true. It can't be true. Steph, how you doing? Good to see you. Porgs and Ewoks for the win. You got it. Absolutely. Well, this is the first. I actually know this is not the first. We got one before this, but this is the first in the sequel trilogy. And let me tell you, that first trailer, oh my God. Oh my God. Did that make me so excited? There was only a mysterious figure talking over all these really quick visuals and this dark Lord of the Sith, of course, we thought, with a new like Excalibur like lightsaber. Oh, I was in love with Kylo Ren before I even knew anything about Kylo Ren. His name to me was like, I love the name Kylo Ren. I still love it. Ren, of course, Ren McCormick from Footloose. How can you not like it? Kylo, that's pretty cool. And look at all these new characters. The hero characters. We have a couple here. Old Han Solo and Chewbacca. The old gang is back. 3PO and R2. An updated R2D2 that rolls. I was all aboard this. And the cool silver stormtrooper in the middle. Honestly, a new Death Star. Let's friggin' do this. Let's do it. I go to the theater opening night with all of my friends. We watch it. And I absolutely loved the film. Did it feel different? Well, heck yes, it did. I could tell it wasn't George Lucas. There's hints of George in there, but I could tell that this was not George Lucas, even though the legendary Lawrence Kasdan helped write this with J.J. Abrams. There was still George missing, but that's okay. Do you want to know why? Because we have to move on. George could have kept Lucasfilm sealed. He doesn't need any more friggin' money. Are you kidding me? He doesn't need any more money. George could have been like, you know what? Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all this stuff is going to stay with me forever. But he didn't. As much as we want to yell at George Lucas for whatever reason, he allowed Star Wars to continue. Whether we like what's going on with Star Wars or not, he allowed it to happen. So we can all thank George for that. Really, we can. So to you, Mr. Lucas, God, like, thank you for creating the greatest story ever. Tough Nerd, Force Awakens was as he did not like it. So let's talk about the things that were great. I loved Rey. I fell in love with Rey right off the bat. I thought Daisy Ridley was a great character, an unknown actor too. For the most part, I don't remember Daisy Ridley being in anything. I'm sure she was, but she was unknown to me. John Boyega, been in a handful of things maybe. I didn't know anything about him. Oscar Isaac, same. I like that. You can have one or two big stars, sure, but I like for the most part that they were, you know, for the most part, unknown actors. And I thought they all did a great job. They all had something to do in this movie, which is a problem in future installments, as we're going to see. Finn had something to do. Dude, he was an ex-stormtrooper. How cool is that? That opening scene with Max von Sydow is so awesome. You see Ren and his troops go down. They're looking for the map to Skywalker. And let me talk about how much I love that plot. They go down. I can't remember the planet now. And all the troopers go and they're just going to execute all the villagers. And Finn can't do it. This is his first assignment. That's not a training exercise. He can't do it. He can't kill these innocent people. So now, like, this is so great. You see an Imperial, whatever, I call him Imperial stormtrooper who can't fulfill his duties and what that's like. Brilliant. Rey, we don't know much about Rey. She's a nobody from a Tatooine-ish planet. It's got sand, so everyone loses their mind. They just copied Luke. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's a flat out copy. Okay. And I mean, everyone craps on her because I'm not even going to say the terminology that people call her because I don't like it. Basically, she could do everything right off the bat. I mean, let me ask you, what is it that everybody wants? You see, if you retell the story of Luke Skywalker, people lose their minds. And if you don't tell the story of Luke Skywalker, if you change it too much, well, people lose their minds. Okay, let's go to Poe. Poe's great. Poe's the Han Solo-ish character. He's a good-looking dude, very suave, very cocky, very arrogant. He's toe-to-toe with Ren. He makes fun of the way Ren talks. It's great. A little bit of humor there. It works. And you have Kylo Ren. Coming down to this planet, he wants the map to Skywalker. Oh my God. This plot, this MacGuffin, this idea that whoever gets to Luke first basically wins, I was all aboard. I was like, this is so great. You have everyone looking for Luke Skywalker, who is the savior, who destroyed the Death Star, defeated the Emperor, turned Vader back. Now all of a sudden he's gone. Nobody knows where he is. It's great because everybody thought right off the bat we were going to see Luke. And the fact that they saved Luke to the very last, like 20 seconds was brilliant, and it worked. It worked. Okay. I'm going to take a breath and read some comments here. Yeah, this is where we need a moderator. Chad says Rey was good in this film. The other two, not so much. And we'll get to that. Tough nerd. The only films Disney got right here were Rogue One and the Solo movie. Hugo says Kylo was all... What? Oh, Kylo was all I liked from the sequels. Yeah, think about it isolated. Never mind the other two crappy ones. Brandon just throwing it out there. He loves it. They're Imperials and Rebels, yeah. First Order, whatever. I call them Imperials and Rebels, right? The Luke reveal scene was the best 90 seconds of the film. And the fact, too, that Luke didn't say anything. And guys, bring yourself to that moment, okay? The movie's over. Bad guys are defeated. Ren is defeated. Whatever's happening. Rey goes to the planet. She finds Luke. She climbs a huge friggin' hill. You just see this cloaked figure. You see his back. I can't tell you. Like right now, I feel like I'm welling up, even talking about it. I can't tell you, in the theater, I was like shaking. It was absolutely insane. I've never really felt anything quite like this in a movie. You just see his back, and the score is beautiful by John Williams, and he slowly turns, And we all saw leaked pictures of him, but it's Luke. He's all worn. He's older. He's ragged. He's been through some stuff that we don't know what it is yet. Okay. He turns. There's no words at all. Rey opens her satchel. Oh, God. Woo! And holds to him his father's lightsaber, the one he lost in the duel at Cloud City. Wrap your head around that. Holds it to him, and without any words, we know what she says. She says, "For the love of God, Luke, can you save us?" And you don't know. You see Mark crying, real tears crying. Daisy is crying. A beautiful scene. And that's it. It's a cliffhanger. Oh, incredible. And then they ruined it with the beginning of Last Jedi, but we'll get there. I love this movie. I love it. I love The Force Awakens. Guys, let me know. Get your votes in. Where is Jordan? Yeah, again, there was lots of people, Wizzy Wizard, including yourself, that I wanted to reach out to and have a panel. I think we might do a follow-up one on all the movies, a discussion, but I just wanted to show you guys exactly where I put the movies purely without having to vote or any of that with another panel member. So this is just where I'm putting them. Tough Nerd says, F, get it out of here. That moment was so monumental, yes, but I'm sorry, the next film wasted it all. We'll get to The Last Jedi. Whoa, Chad. The D. Rob Vegas with the D. Mo says, I like this movie. I don't love it. It's a C, which is, we all agreed C is like, you want to own it in the collection, but barely. That's like the minimal. Damien says B tier. The Indo Nerd, welcome. F tier, absolute garbage. Servius is here. What's up, brother? How are you? In Legends, Kyle Katarn was a self-taught, never understood the hate for Rey. Yeah, that is very true. Everyone forgets about Kyle. No one really talks about Kyle Katarn. Steph says, Return of the Jedi is my #1 Star Wars movie. Eric with the C, Wizzy Wizard F. Look at this. Brandon with the A tier. Wow. This one is completely divided. When I thought, honestly, everyone was going to dump on this one. Jenny with the A, Servius with the A, Lisa with the A, Ghetto Finger with the C. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens is so good. It's so good. Oh. Is it S tier? I almost want to get listen. I almost want to give it an S tier just for the scene with Rey and Luke. That's how much I love it. The plot to find Luke Skywalker. We didn't even talk about Han Solo. Did we need to see old Han? No. But everybody cried. Everyone in the chat, and don't tell me you didn't, because you did. Everyone welled up when they saw Han and Chewbacca go on the Falcon. You get to see Han as a broken old guy again. He has the Eravana ship because he's lost the Falcon again. And we got to see those two gangs, which I thought were really cool. What are they called? Kanji Club and the other ones. I can't remember. Am I going to get the torches lit if I go where I want to go here? It's not better than A New Hope. You're right. It's not, but it is equal to A New Hope. I 100% think so. I think it's equal to Revenge of the Sith. A tier. That's my thoughts. That's my opinion. Don't hate me. Don't unsubscribe. Please, if you haven't already, like the video, guys, because it helps me out. There you go. That's what makes Star Wars so great. Everyone's opinion is so like drastically different. It's crazy. So this was the first Star Wars film under Disney Star Wars. Den of Geeks says, Jay, I admit I cried when I saw Han. I think we all did. And honestly, I wish they didn't ruin that in the trailer. Even though the Chewie Were Home is like one of the most watched trailers of all time at the time, I wish they didn't spoil that. Yeah, Indo Nerd, there's a lot that say it kind of contradicts Solo's arc, and I can see that. He's a smart ass punk, pirate, smuggler, scumbag in A New Hope, and we love him for it. Empire, he's still a smart ass, but now he's a little interested. He's interested in Leia and A New Hope, but in Empire, he's really interested. So he's changing his tune a little bit, right? Then Jedi, he's fully in love. They're together. And some people say Han loses his character. I think he's just in love. He changes, right? Now, Force Awakens, kind of, you go back, but take all the cool stuff away, and he's just a loser. See, I like that. I went back and forth for a while. I like that. Now we're talking Rogue One, Chad says. Directed by Gareth Edwards, who had to be in Last Jedi, didn't he? He had to be in the trenches for the Last Jedi, the final battle. He just had to be in there to take us all out of the movie. But anyway. So everybody wonders how they got the plans for the Death Star. And it's funny to me that so many people think about when this came out, so many people said, well, where are the Bothans? Where are the Bothans? That was the plans for the second Death Star. And I think a lot of people thought that that's what this was. The Bothans died to get the plans for the second Death Star, not the first one. This is the story of the ragtag group of misfits who all come together for a purpose to stop the Empire. Oh, God. The Vader scene. Look at you guys. I don't like this movie. I don't like it at all. Again, you guys know I don't have a very good poker face, so I'm just going to spill it. Rogue One is, I think, the worst of all the Star Wars movies. And I'm not going to attack. Hang on. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. It is. It's always been my least favorite. Okay. Now hang on. We're allowed to all of our opinions. I'll tell you why. It's not the actors. Like Donnie Yen is in this, for God's sake. Forrest Whitaker is in this. It's not the actors, okay? It is that the characters in this film are so boring. They are so boring. And if you watch the original trailer for Rogue One, 90% of what made that trailer great never made it into the final version. Hey, Pains. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Give her a thumbs up, please. Appreciate it. Come on, guys. Come on, come on, come on. Let's keep it civilized. I know you guys are kidding around. What in the actual? Yeah. Chad, you said something about the Darth Vader scene. Oh my God. I can't even remember the guy that played Vader. Like the scene with Krennic, and he turns around and Vader's like doing this, got some weird claw, and Krennic's of course being choked, and then he says, "Don't choke on your aspirations." Are you kidding me? That is so horrible. I could have also done without the quick zooms, or I shouldn't say even quick, the slow zoom ins on stuff like Blue Milk in the opening shot. Gareth is like, "Hey, they'll remember Blue Milk. Let's zoom in on that." There's so many member berries in this movie that it pulled me out so quickly. Why did they have to run into Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan on the street? Why? Because Star Wars fans remember that. That's why. Why was there AT-AT walkers on the beach planet? I can't even remember what it was called. Why? The walkers were used on Hoth to corner the rebels against a wall. Their base was literally against a mountain. That made sense. Why did they put walkers on the beach planet? I'm not saying that the sequels don't have member berries. I'm not. I'm isolating Rogue One here. I'm talking about Rogue One and the things that I dislike. Saw Gerrera as a character. Um, he dies, and you don't know why. I mean, unless you watch Clone Wars and the books and the comics and all that stuff, which not all of us do. It's like I'm supposed to feel something for this rebel leader that's giving this great sacrifice. He's just like, I'm not gonna run any longer. It's like, okay. It's just another character in this movie that dies that I feel nothing for. K2SO was the best character, I think, in this movie. Actually, when he gets killed, that's pretty brutal. The ending of the movie is great. Someone said that in the chat. Again, it's hard for me to keep up here. Don't hate me, guys. It's just a fun discussion, okay? This is not fact. This is just my opinion. That's it. And I'm not out to hurt anybody. I'm not out to hurt anyone's feelings. This is just what I think. Simple as that. K2 dying was brutal. You really felt something for that droid. The ending, I will say, is great with Jin and Cassian. Put yourself in that position. Okay, the Death Star has struck the planet, and it's cool because the Death Star is not fully powerful, right? So it's going to take a little bit of time for the planet to just be destroyed, which I think is actually more frightening than what it does in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. That you know it's coming. Them to be on the beach, you know they have feelings for each other. That's never going to go anywhere because they have about, I don't know, what is it, like 5 minutes before the planet gets destroyed. I need to take this jacket off. My Bespin Luke jacket is it's giving me heat stroke. Thank you. The ending is great. The two the Donnie Yen character, Baz Melbus and Chirrut, they're pretty good. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of a spin-off with those guys. I could care less about Jin. She was cold. She was just kind of there. I didn't think the character really did anything. And let's talk about the CG stuff. Oh, but Jay, they did a CG Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. Yeah, they did. Do you know what the difference is? Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, is alive. Okay? I'm not talking about Princess Leia. This is before Carrie had passed. Okay? This is the Peter Cushing Tarkin stuff. Did they really need Tarkin in there? You could have had some upper Imperial that we just got introduced to. Maybe, another figure for them to make. That would have been great. I would have loved to have bought it. But there's something really, really inherently wrong and creepy with CGing Peter Cushing. Okay. Even if his family gives it the okay, which clearly they did, the keepers of Peter Cushing's estate said it was okay. But even that, even if it's his kids or whoever, he's still not alive to ultimately make that decision. This is just where I think morally it's wrong. I'm also the guy who doesn't like the holographic Tupac stage concert, the holographic Freddie Mercury or Kurt Cobain or whatever. I don't agree with any of that stuff. If someone has passed, there's different ways to pay honor to them. They could have even done like just maybe a communique with Tarkin where someone impersonates his voice, but to have a fully realized character, I don't think it's right. I need to take a breath here. Brandon, thank you again for the super chat. Stylish jacket you have there, Jay. Thank you. It's my Luke Skywalker Bespin jacket. I got this actually 2017. Finally got one. Thanks, dude. It looks really great done up. The colors, like, there you go. But it's like super hot in this room right now. So the Vader end scene. I do like that. Yes. Brandon, again, thank you, dude, for the super chat. The Vader scene was great. I like to see Darth Vader use his powers. Of course, that was great. But there's something about Rogue One in particular that doesn't feel like Star Wars. There's something about it. I can't put my finger on it. To me, when I watch Rogue One, it reminds me of like a college fan made film. And let me reiterate here. A college fan made film today can look like an epic production with an iPhone. I'm talking about when I was in college, like the 2000s, right? That's kind of the feeling I get from Rogue One. Not a fan of it. Get your votes in, guys, for Rogue One. If there's any points that I have missed, please bring them up. Once again, understand this is not fact. This is just my opinion. I wanted to see more of Saw. Saw had some great quotes in the trailer, Tough Nerd, and they were all cut. Cutting room floor for some weird reason. It feels like Star Wars to you. Sweet. My opinion stinks. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Tough Nerd Toy says S tier all the way. This is one of the best. Rogue One felt more like Star Wars than 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Fair enough. Fair enough. Brandon, I think, is a little closer to my thinking. D for dull. Wizzy Wizard with the C. Hugo with an S. Wow. I didn't think this one was going to get such a huge difference in grades. I honestly thought that everybody loved this movie. Jenny with the C as well. It's mid tier. Dangerman with the A. Pains with the B. Rob Vegas A for me. Last 45 minutes is S tier. Moses B tier. Servius with the S tier. Den of Geek with A. Okay. And Dragon Ball with the C tier. Well, since Rogue One is my least favorite Star Wars film, and I must admit, I don't ever feel like watching this one. I don't even own this one on Blu-ray or DVD. If you can believe that, I don't. I dislike it immensely. F tier. She's at the bottom, boys and girls. Here we go. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Hey, look, one of them's got to be on the bottom. One of them's got to be on the bottom. And just for me, I mean, the biggest telltale, the biggest reason, guys, I feel it in here. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie to me. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't even have this movie in my collection. You know, guy, you know how I feel about physical. I like the physical holding the movie, and I don't even have this one. Cut you deep. Hugo, come on. Come on, brother. We're all friends here. I speak the truth. It's not always easy to hear. Chris, what are you saying? What are you doing in Facebook land? No one deserves to be in the F category. Okay, to be fair, it's just among the Star Wars movies. I don't believe there's a bad Star Wars movie. Let me make that perfectly clear, okay? I don't think there's a bad Star Wars movie. I'm judging them all together against themselves. That's what I'm doing. Every Star Wars movie is friggin' A. Let's be honest, guys. Come on. It's Star Wars. There's nothing like it. Just against each other, that's where we're going here. I don't know if I have the breath. Oh, the Gim. Come on, mate. I love you. Come on. I didn't sucker punch anybody. Come on. Straighten up that jacket. Let's go, guys. Come on. Jenny agrees with me. There you go. We're relatives. There you go. That proves it. I love all you guys. Come on. This is just fun. We're just having some fun here. Attack of the Clones was released in 2002. Written by the mighty George Lucas. They're turning against me. Perhaps. So, where do we start with this one? The sequel to The Phantom Menace We get to see Anakin in his teen years finally get to profess his love to Padme, who loved him as a child, which is really weird. But now she's kind of playing like she doesn't really like him anymore, even though I guess they can be together. They're both adults, right? So she liked him as a kid. She's like a 10-year gap. He's a little kid and she's like an early teen, so that's bizarre. And now they can get together and she's pretending like she doesn't like him. Of course, it had been like 10 years. I think Anakin's 16 in this, and he was 6 in Phantom Menace. So that's a little strange. Jar Jar Binks is cut way back down because everyone lost their minds. So George put Jar Jar in this very minimal, which is fine. Obi-Wan is more like Obi-Wan that we know now. He's got the beard. He's got a kind of mid-length hair. Ewan McGregor is super cool. We get a CG Yoda, which I do not like. The legendary Frank Oz is still here playing Yoda, thank God. But we get a fully computer graphics Yoda that you didn't need to do. Again, I'll defend George a bit because that's where he thought the future was. We know that that's wrong. 100% CG is wrong. Practical will always be better because it looks like it's real. When we believe Yoda is real and The Empire Strikes Back, which was 1980, we know it's a puppet that just does this, but he's so believable because the performance of Frank Oz, both in the way he speaks and the way that Frank puppeteered him. We lose all of that in this. We completely lose it. So I'm not a fan of the CG Yoda. I even like the puppet Yoda in the Phantom Menace, the original puppet Yoda, even though he looks a little off. I would still rather see that than a computer graphics Yoda when they did it so well in the 80s. There was just no need for it. We get your new baddie. The baddie in this one is Count Dooku, who is a former Jedi. We get a little bit of backstory in that, played by the legendary Christopher Lee, of course, Count Dracula himself. He was all right. He was all right. You know, the curved hilt was a little different. He had a fencing style. He shot lightning. I just found Christopher Lee's performance a little wooden. He's got a lot of goofy looks in this, especially when he's fighting Yoda. Oh, no, sorry. Well, the fight at the end when he fights all three. He fights Anakin, then he fights Obi-Wan, and he fights Yoda. And I think when he's shooting lightning at Yoda, like the way he's holding his hand is really goofy. These are just things that stuck with me. And his face is really goofy looking. Like he doesn't look menacing to me. You guys get that? I don't know. Brandon says I enjoyed it. I remember the audiences clapping when the movie started. Every single Star Wars, I remember that happened. When the lights go down, okay, and you see the Lucasfilm logo, just stay with me, guys. You remember that. The theater quietens. You see the black and the Lucasfilm sparkly logo. Everyone's hair is standing up on the back of their neck. Like it's just an incredible feeling. And then bam, Star Wars. Everyone I've seen in the theater for the first time, regardless, everyone lost their minds. It's like literally the best introduction of any film ever. And then the crawl, oh my God. Straight out of Buck Rogers. It's perfect. The Gim, I bet Chad just left to do a car rant after that Rogue One ranking. Oh, my friend, yes. I would say that that's probably true. So the next car rant will be about old Jay here. Thank you so much again, my friend, for the super chat and your support. All jokes aside, guys, I really couldn't do this without you guys. So I'm glad that you find this entertaining and all the stuff that I do on my channel. So thank you so much. We are introduced to Boba Fett's brother. I'm just kidding. Jango Fett. Nah. Jango Fett. I call Jango Fett. It's what George. How do I put this? Boba Fett was a background character. He was always a background character. Boba Fett stood there and looked cool. That's all Boba Fett was supposed to do. That's it. The fans made Boba Fett much more than he ever was with the novels, with dressing up like him, with fan fiction. They wanted more. Okay. They wanted more from Boba Fett. That's what this character is. I believe that fully. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I think George created Jango Fett. So, with his new computer graphics that he has, with all these new effects he has, he could finally show us Jango Fett flying around, and now he's got a flamethrower, and he's got a blowtorch, and he's got rockets coming everywhere, right? That's what Jango Fett is. Larry, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Yeah, hang on. You know what I'm saying though, Darth, right? He's more, yes, but Boba Fett's original presence in The Empire Strikes Back and even Return of the Jedi, just standing there, is 10 times more powerful than anything that Jango Fett ever did. And we get to see all the bells and whistles of the Boba Fett suit, the flamethrower, the grapple hook, all this, he's flying around. I liked it when Boba Fett just stood there. I think it was more powerful. So I agree with you there. I think that's what you're saying. Lilith says, for me, I've seen all the Star Wars films in the cinema, and when you hear the 21st Century Fox drum roll, the flash of Lucasfilm, then boom, the magic happens. Yeah, and everyone stands up and claps. It's incredible. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. That's the one movie that I actually look forward to seeing in the theater is Star Wars. All right, so let's talk about the crappy things about this movie. Many call the chemistry between Padme and Anakin wooden. It's cringy. It's bad. I'm thinking about the field, when they have to go into hiding and Anakin coincidentally is the one who looks after her. They're in the field rolling around. Anakin's showing off. It's a little cringy. I'll defend it a little bit and say, they're young teens. Young teen love is cringy. You're just figuring everything out, right? I don't know. It sucks. Yeah, it's not the greatest. Positives. I liked the Geonosian arena battle with all the Jedis. I thought that was cool. The Geonosians themselves were a little weak. I mean, they're cool. They're different. They're insectoid. They're not bad. The death of Jango Fett was all right. We got to see little kid Boba Fett. Kamino was a great new planet. And we got to see Coruscant. For the first time, we really got to see a lot of Coruscant. We got to go to the lower decks. We got to go into another nightclub. Not nearly as iconic as the Cantina, of course. But we got to go into a nightclub. I just like seeing more of the world. I could have done without seeing Ahmed Best and Anthony Daniels just standing there out of costume in the club as new characters. And they even went so far as to make action figures out of these characters. I can't remember their names. The positives, this movie has been an endless resource for memes. So true, my friend. Chris says clones made the movie. Brandon says it's so true of all the movies. Star Wars are meant to be enjoyed on the big screen. I agree. Yeah. And once again, I'll say it for the last time. None of these movies are bad. They're Star Wars. They're all friggin' incredible. I'm going, one against the other here, against each other. Okay, let's move on from Attack of the Clones. Where are we going to put this one? Is it the worst of the prequels? I don't know. Is it the worst? You guys tell me. The Sand People didn't deserve to die. I think you would do the same if they kidnapped your mom like that and tortured her. They got exactly what they deserved. And that part's great because you get to see Anakin lose complete control. I love it. And there's a lot of Tuskens that were innocent that got slaughtered, but that's the way she goes, right? There's lots of species in Star Wars that get slaughtered that don't deserve it. Well, you're attached to a culture like that is very barbaric. That's just the way the Tuscans are, right? To them, that was pretty normal, but Anakin slaughtered them all, the kids and everything. And that scene is great. The delivery is not the best when he says, "I killed them all, the women, the children, the men. I slaughtered them all. You didn't leave anything alive." That's pretty bone chilling, man. And then you get to see hints of Vader and the little John Williams score, the little hints of the Vader's Imperial March come in there just so slightly. It's beautiful. C, D, D, B, B, C, B, D. I forgot to mention I dressed up for a lot of these. I think I dressed up for all of them, actually. This one I was Anakin for. It's a tough one, guys. It's a tough one. All right. B tier. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's on par with Revenge of the Sith if we're just going on prequels. I don't think it's as good as A New Hope or The Force Awakens, but I don't think it's bad. I don't think it should get all the hate that it does get. Here we go. Light them up, guys. Set phasers to execute. This is the worst Star Wars poster out of all of them. I have all the films framed except this one and Rogue One. I don't even own this poster. It's terrible. Like, I could do a better job. Like, when I make my thumbnails for YouTube, I'm just saying, I'm not bragging, but I could do a better thumbnail than this. This is awful. This is awful. Now you're at the end of a trilogy with a director that has to clean up the mess of the previous director. One director starts off the sequel trilogy, it gets passed off to another one, which is fine. We saw that in the original trilogy, and it worked because they all communicated with George. This one, no one communicated with anyone. So you have J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan. Rian Johnson comes in with the second one, completely derails all the character stories that have been built up from the previous film. He gets a backlash so bad that they're going to go with JJ for the third one, and JJ has to come up again with the world's biggest broom and clean up the mess that Ryan made. And on top of it all, I think the worst thing about this movie is the shoehorn of the new characters. I mean, we're talking about how General Grievous is unnecessary. That's nothing. That's nothing. Grievous is like a breath of fresh air. He's welcome compared to this. If I was to say the name Zori Bliss, do you guys even know who that is? I'll wait. Hey, Neil, what's up? Nobody says anything. And then the other new character on the horse thing there, Jaina, I think her name was Jaina. I can't remember the character's name. Yeah. Echoing what Chad said about there's way more member berries in the sequel trilogy. I would agree there's the same amount as there is in Rogue One, but it's no more apparent than this film right here. We have Lando Calrissian here for absolutely zero reason. Why is Lando in this film? Oh, because he's one of the four originals. And I'm not talking about 3PO and R2. I'm talking about the four original human characters that have to be in this for some reason. Now, I don't want to contradict what I said earlier about actors that we love who have passed on. Obviously, Carrie Fisher passed on after The Last Jedi. And it was devastating for all of us Star Wars fans. It's kind of weird here, right? Because I think JJ did the best he could. Now, as I said, I don't believe in making CG characters of actors that have passed. So Carrie was still alive when Rogue One came out. That's fine. You want to do a younger, de-aged Princess Leia at the end of Rogue One. It makes sense for the story. Go for it. This one, what do? You have one of the most important characters in Star Wars, Leia Organa. You can't just where does she go? So JJ had to use deleted scenes, outtakes, footage from The Force Awakens, and stitch together a story. And I got to tell you, with what he had to work with, I think he did a pretty good job. Was it awkward? Sure. Because Leia basically just nodded and said one word here or there. And Rey, when she's talking to Rey would basically say, what Leia was supposed to say. But what are you supposed to do here? Right? So that scene in The Last Jedi, I think, honestly, how do I say this? I think that scene would have been good for the end of Leia. That Kylo Ren killed her, blew her up, and she just got blown out of the ship and she was gone. Forget about the Force, Mary Poppins stuff, whatever people say about it. Forget about that. But if Ren attacked her the way he did on he attacked the bridge of the cruiser, blew it up, she flew out, or maybe you didn't even see that. He just blew up the cruiser and he killed her. That would have been better than what we got in The Rise of Skywalker. But what are we going to do in The Rise of Skywalker? How do you get rid of a character like Princess Leia where the actor is no longer with us? I don't know. Do you make a fully CG Leia? I mean, they did for the flashback part when she's training with Luke. I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that. Bill is here, another fellow Star Wars nerd. What's up, dude? Because of Obi-Wan. Because of you. Because of your decisions. This movie gives me a headache. This is probably the quickest paced film in cinematic history. It moves so fast. And again, the filmmakers are so stuck in the past. Why did this movie have to be one movie? Why couldn't they make an episode 10? Because there's been 2 trilogies before that. Do you think the fans would have really got upset? I would have much rather have seen a more flushed out episode 9. Slow it down a bit. Slow it down. Let's develop some of these characters. Okay? And then make episode 10. So the sequel trilogy, you can't say it's a trilogy anymore. So what? You have 4 episodes, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why can't you do that? Well, because in the past, all there's been is trilogies. Well, so what? Let's change that. Who am I arguing with? Myself. Do you guys follow what I'm saying, though? Why couldn't they do an episode 10? Lilith says this movie belongs in the trash bin. Pour gas on it and light a match. Yeah. So, things I like about the movie. Okay? The ending. The ending I like. The Emperor has returned. He's conjured a fleet, more than a fleet, 20,000 fleets of Star Destroyers from the dark recesses of the Force. Okay, you know what? Sure. I don't know enough about the dark side. Do you guys? Maybe he did conjure them. Let's not get into the too technical about, well, how did the crews get out there? That's like blah, blah, blah on each ship. Forget about that. He conjured the ships from the dark side. Sure. Fine. It's stupid, yes, but fine. What I like, and the score really does help at the end, when the rebel fleet goes and attacks and they're all dying, it's the typical, end of a movie where it's like you think the bad guys are gonna get wiped out, then all of a sudden you hear Lando, and he says, "We're all here, Poe. We're all here." Whatever he says, I don't know the quote. I've only seen it a few times, and the camera turns, and you see the Falcon with literally the entire galaxy behind him. I love that part. I frigging loved it. I lost my mind because it's the galaxy as a whole finally saying, "You know what? F this. I am so tired of this Palpatine guy. If we got to live or die, that's the way it's got to be. But screw this. I'm getting in whatever piece of crap spacecraft I have, and I'm going to join this fight. We're all going to end this. Forget about a rebellion. It's the galaxy just coming together and just saying, we are done with this crap." I really like that part. Of course, it's unrealistic. It doesn't make sense, but who cares? We're talking about Star Wars over here. Yo, Joe OC, what is up, my friend? I like Ray. I like Ray too. I do. I would have liked to have seen an episode 10 where we get to see her train more and not just like throw her lightsaber at some training droids. I would have liked to have seen more of her and her training like we did Luke on Dagobah. Okay. But I like the character of Rey. I like the idea of her being a Skywalker. Don't like the torches, just hear me out. I love the end where she buries the two blades. I think it's stupid that Leia has a blade, by the way, but it's neither here nor there. She buries the Skywalker blades on Tatooine, and that old woman says, "Who are you?" And Rey Skywalker. I erupted. I loved it because the idea is, she's a Palpatine by blood, but you choose the family that you are a part of. Bloodline doesn't mean anything. That means something to me because of what I dealt with my father and how horrible he was to myself and my mother. That meant a lot to me because it's like I have this father figure that is terrible and I don't want any part of that. I want to be a part of this. And the idea that you can do that, I really love. So her being Rey Skywalker, I am 100% behind. I can understand why some people don't like it because blood-wise, she's not a Skywalker. In fact, she has nothing to do with Luke or Leia other than the fact that Luke was, I guess, kind of a mentor. We get a little bit of training in The Last Jedi, a little bit, which was silly. That's my thoughts on that. Where are we going to put the Rise of Skywalker? Is there anything else we need to talk about? The Emperor. I thought the Emperor was cool looking. I like the idea that his body, he's just going through these bodies that can't handle his force power. I would like to have seen, again, if you expand into episode 10, I would like to have seen all the Sith Lords in the stadium. Who are they? Where did they come from? What does it mean? You could have gone really deep into the Sith mythology. You could have gone a lot deeper. Jenny, you agree with me. There you go. Thank you. That's just my point of view, guys. It's just my point of view. TK says, I feel like they should have buried the 3 lightsabers in Padme's tomb. Well, sure, but I mean, it was Luke's homestead, right? I mean, Luke was her main inspiration for everything, right? Okay, where are we going to go with this? Paul, what's going on? C tier. Nestor says E tier. I don't think this one is as bad as Rogue One. I don't think it is. I would rather watch this any day. There's some really good parts to this. The Force heal, I like that. Again, it wasn't explained. I like the idea of it. I think it should have been flushed out more. I like the idea of Ren turning good. His story arc I thought was great. Although they kind of forgot about the Vader helmet thing, which was kind of stupid. That started in 7, but the point is, this is what happens when you don't let go of these old school ideals where you have to follow what George did. I mean, maybe JJ, I'm pretty sure Kathleen probably said, you got to make a trilogy. That's it. Because if you flesh this out and made another episode, you could have expanded it so much better. Brendan says, I abstained from this film. I wasn't even listening, if I'm honest. As I said, The Last Jedi. Have you not seen this one? Rob Vegas says, G for garbage. Chris with the F tier. The Gim says E. Even F, but I said I didn't finish it. Wow, you didn't even finish it. Crazy. If something ceases to entertain you, I'll be the first one to say, don't finish it, man. You don't owe this stuff anything, even though it has Star Wars on it. Right? If it's not entertaining to you, don't watch it. The Rise of Skywalker, and I do love the name. I think The Rise of Skywalker is a great name for an episode. C tier. Right there. It's far above Rogue One for me. It's 2 steps easily. Rogue One is just hard for me to watch. It really is. There's a lot of problems with The Rise of Skywalker, but there's a lot of things that I did like. Once again, for the final time, if they had an episode 10, it would have made things a lot better. And the fact that they were going back and forth between directors and the directors weren't communicating it clearly. And how Disney could be so irresponsible to Star Wars is criminal behavior. It's criminal. Interested to see what you guys have to say about this. Chad left the building. He left after my Rogue One placement. He's filming a rant video right now. Oh, the Leafs are losing 2-3 in the third. Oh, you guys are watching Leaf game. I hope they win for your guys' sake. I hope they win. Oh, guys, it's okay. Watch your game. It's no big deal here. Jenny says nothing to say. We did an event on this. Yes, we did, my friend. We sure did. Oh, you wish you could have seen the other version. Yeah, I heard it was a bit comedic. There was a lot of jokes in it, which the Disney higher-ups didn't think it would fly. So they got old Ron Howard to come in, once again, clean up the mess. I don't understand how a company who has more money than God himself, does God even need money? Well, if he did, Disney has more money than God does. And why you're picking up the pieces and gluing something back together that was someone else's vision instead of saying, okay, you know what? We fired the 2 original directors and their vision and their thoughts on what the solo movie should be. Let's just take this whole thing and throw it out and get someone else to come in with a new script and then get Ron Howard to come in. You have more money than any film studio in the history of the existence of human beings on this planet. There's no excuse why this just didn't get scrapped and redone from the very beginning. Lay it on me. Let's hear it. Solo sucked. Never saw it, Brandon says. C to Crimson Dawn, Servius Snape. Okay, let's get into it. As follows: The Adventures of Young Han Solo. This came out in 2019. Was it 2019? Yeah, it was right after Last Jedi. Alden Ehrenreich did a fine job portraying Han Solo. I like the fact that he didn't try and copy Harrison Ford. He acted like how he thought Han Solo acted. I really enjoyed him. And when I watched him, he grabbed me right from the beginning. I felt like I was watching a young Han Solo. I didn't feel like I was watching somebody imitate Harrison Ford. Okay? I like that. Woody Harrelson was okay. I don't think we needed to see Han Solo's mentor. I always forget this other guy's name. Emilia Clarke, she's all right. Paul Bentley, I thought was an interesting villain. Donald Glover, yes, Donald Glover as young Lando. He was great. Yo Joe OC, never seen. You should watch it. You really should. If you like Star Wars, you should watch it. It's worth a watch. I think it's a pretty decent movie. It's just a fun adventure, okay? There's a lot wrong with it. There's a lot right. If you just, forget about all the episodes and all that stuff and you just sit back and you want to watch a fun like space pirate Han Solo film, this hits all the beats it needs to. You get a little bit of backstory with Han, why he joined the Empire, why he left the Empire, how he gets the Falcon. I don't think we needed to see that. We got a stupid, ridiculous version of the Carillion freighter that we didn't need. I mean, they remodeled it so much, and then they try to tell us that, oh, actually, there was a escape pod in the middle of the Falcon. And I mean, I know Han modified the ship, but you're telling me that that chunk in the center that is missing in the current day Falcon was an escape pod, and Han didn't put that back in or get another one? Like, that's stupid. They shouldn't have changed the way the Millennium Falcon looked so much. It was a little much. Little much. No, we didn't need to see that. And I was thinking, Damien, that we were going to see something like that. Um, we didn't need to see a young Greedo. We also didn't need to see the campfire scene where Woody Harrelson gives Han the DL-44 blaster. We're not talking about a lightsaber, an ancient weapon handed down by holy knights. Okay, we're talking about a gun you can go buy in the store. So I really think seeing that, how Han got his blaster, eh, eh. Going back, re-examining this film, the ending with Darth Maul 2, um, I see what they were doing, setting it up because Darth Maul is tied with Crimson Dawn in Rebels, Clone Wars, all that stuff. Darth Maul being alive in general is ridiculous on its own, but I like the idea that they were setting up something and that Kira was now in charge of Crimson Dawn with what's his face out of the way. Can't remember his character's name. Dryden Voss, that's it. So he's out of the way. Now Kira runs Crimson Dawn, but you really find out that the big baddie is Darth Maul. He's controlling all this. And you can really see that they started to set up a solo franchise. And because the backlash of The Last Jedi and the fact that people actually were complaining that we were getting this 6 months after a Star Wars movie and it was too soon. Well, you guys just wait and see until Disney Plus comes along and you're going to get a new Star Wars thing every friggin' season. You want to talk about too much Star Wars? Now, we're getting way too much Star Wars, way too much watered down Star Wars, in my opinion. Solo looks like a friggin' treat compared to the Boba Fett show. Let me tell you that right now. As a one-off movie, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think or where you want to put this. I have no super love for this film. I do own a replica jacket of this. I might have got caught up a little bit on the Solo hype, and I bought the jacket that Han wears. It's pretty cool, right? Kind of. Nerd. Dude, Boba is beyond terrible. Boba Fett is the worst thing since the holiday special. That show is garbage. Tough nerd. Many did not watch Solo, which was actually not a bad film due to the horrible Disney trilogy, let's be honest. By then, everyone had bad Star Wars writing fatigue. Yeah, well, like I was just saying, this came out 6 months, almost to the day The Last Jedi came out, and people were tired. Well, let me take my DeLorean and go into the future and tell you guys, you just wait, like I said, until Disney Plus comes out. You're going to get way too much Star Wars, way too fast. Lilith, you have this jacket too. Yeah, it's cool. I think I got mine at Hot Topic. They had the Lando cape too, that Donald Glover wears. I didn't get that. I thought that might be a bit too much for me, but the Solo one I rock now and then. Yeah. Okay. So let's put this in and let's put Solo to bed. It's past his bedtime. It's really sad. Alden Ehrenreich, I feel like he's a great actor. He did a really awesome job. He hasn't been crucified nearly as much as poor old Hayden or Jake Lloyd were back in the day. Or Kelly Marie Tran, who got executed for apparently no reason whatsoever. She took a job. Anyway, we'll get to that. Solo, a Star Wars story. Disney realizing they can make more and stretching out a 12-episode TV show to get money from you monthly instead of one $20 shot. Is it better than The Rise of Skywalker? Nah. Remember, C is where we want to own this. Back when Disney would actually let us own things, remember that? We didn't just rent them. We could actually buy a Blu-ray and have it to do with as we please. We're not allowed to do that anymore. Anyway, old man rants over. I'm going to put Solo. I think it's equivalent to Attack of the Clones. It is better than Rise of Skywalker, but not by much. Not by much. B for Lilith. The Gim says D. Servius Snape with the C. Viper Scout C. TK with the B. Chris says G. He's inventing things now. I like it. Paul says D. Jeff says Fett was horrible. The swoop bike gang riding. I'm not even gonna read that, dude. I know what you're saying. It was embarrassing. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. Oh, I thought you said G tier. I said you're making stuff up. I like it. You're making up your own tiers. If you can't buy it, you can't love it. Well, I don't know about that, but I don't understand. Well, I do understand from a business standpoint where they don't want you to own it because they want to take $20 from you every month. I get it from a business standpoint. From a fanboy standpoint, I don't like it because my collection is incomplete. I don't have the Mandalorian seasons. I don't have any of that other stuff. It just kind of sucks. But that's the way it is. We're old school, man. We're a dying breed. We're the Gen Xers. We like physical media. I like to touch things. I'm a human being. It's the way things work. Moving on. Phantom Menace. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was released in 1999. To say that this film, the hype for this film was out of this world would be a grave understatement. I don't think I ever remember hype for any movie ever like The Phantom Menace was getting. I remember weeks leading up to its release, Entertainment Tonight would have like these little snippet segments. It was like, here's a never before seen little snippet of a scene from Phantom Menace. I recorded all that stuff, all of it. I have VHSs still in Tupperware containers, totes, whatever you want to call them, in the basement of all these little snippets. And I would watch these little 15 to 20-second scenes just to get a little glimpse of something new. There has never been hype like this movie. So much so, ladies and gentlemen, that I still have my stubs for The Phantom Menace, in which I saw it in the theater 42 times. That is the truth. Back in the day, in 1999, I used to work at a little old restaurant called Pizza Hut. I was the morning opening server, and we had this theater in town called, I forget, it's Westmount something, and they had a matinee at 2:00. It was $2. I would go a lot after work, right to the cinema. This is before the internet. This is before you could download anything. And I would pay $2 by myself, and I would watch The Phantom Menace 42 times. Absolutely. And I'm proud of that. I loved this movie. I still love this movie. It gets so much hate. I think The Phantom Menace gets it more than any other Star Wars, maybe Last Jedi, but this one just gets it. And I get it. I get it. They're messing with the thing that you grew up with. There's new things in it that you don't like. I get it. There's no stormtroopers. The stormtroopers look different. There's no Darth Vader. There's little boy Darth Vader. Obi-Wan looks completely different. Who are these new Jedi? What are all these planets? Why are the ships so shiny? That's not my Star Wars. My Star Wars, everything is old and broken down. I get it. Believe me, I get it. I love the Phantom Menace. I still love the Phantom Menace. I remember when the first theatrical trailer dropped, once again, on Entertainment Tonight in November of 1998. It was an event. It was advertised on TV, for God's sakes, that the trailer was going to be shown. Can you guys get into that mental space with me right now? 1998, Star Wars was done. It was done. We had video games and we had some fantastic novels. That was our Star Wars. There was going to be a new Star Wars movie. I couldn't wrap my head around that. I couldn't fathom that there was going to be another Star Wars. Like it was a spiritual event for me. It was like unlike anything I've felt. And I'm not even kidding. You can make fun of me all you want. That's fine. I remember sitting there in my bedroom by myself because I wanted to experience this by myself. I put the tape in, I hit record on the whole episode of ET because I didn't want to miss the trailer. Hit record and whatever. It was, probably the last 5 minutes. They want you to watch the whole thing, right? The last 5 minutes, they played it. Oh my God. Black. Every journey has a beginning, and we get the John Williams Twin Sons theme. Okay? You get Luke's theme. And you just see these walker beasts that look like they're out of the Dark Crystal slowly come out of the mist. Dude, I was in tears. I had tears streaming down my face. I was so frigging excited. No talking in this first trailer, just quick clips. The pods go. There's a guy with face paint and horns. There's a young Obi-Wan Kenobi who's played by Ewan McGregor. Oh my goodness, there's Liam Neeson. You see Yoda's back and he's a puppet. All these quick flashes so quickly. And then the Phantom Menace, which I also love that name. I still love the name Phantom Menace for one of the episodes. I think it's great. The excitement was off the charts. And we got flooded with so much merchandise. And I worked at Pizza Hut at the time. And we had a promotion because Pizza Hut, I don't know, it was under the label of Tricon. So it was Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC. I don't know if that's still a thing now. But all three of those restaurants were like Tricon. Okay. So there was this big Phantom Menace promotion. And in the Pizza Hut restaurants, there were still dine-in ones at the time. There was a life-size Darth Maul, a life-size Yoda statue, and a life-size Jar Jar Binks, fully clothed, one-to-one size, the height they were, the dimensions they were in real life. And we got the Jar Jar Binks one in our restaurant. And customers would come in, and one of the Pizza Hut staff would take a Polaroid picture of you beside the statue for $2, and all the proceeds, I believe, went to the Children's Hospital. It was just wonderful. At the end of the promotion, I went to the district manager and I said, I want to buy all three of these statues from you. And I'm not even going to tell you what it cost because it cost me an arm and a leg. I was a friggin' kid working a part-time gig, and a chunk of my paycheck was coming out every single time to pay for these statues, which took a long time to pay off. I was all in. I have unpunched pizza boxes. I have all the cup toppers. I have all the pogs. I was just living in this. And then I saw the movie. And I see a lot of people now talk about the Phantom Menace. And they said, you know what? We watched Phantom Menace the opening day. And when we came out of the theater, we were all kind of like, nah, it was okay. I got to tell you, I don't know one single person that came out of the Phantom Menace and said it was just okay. I don't know one person. Everyone was so friggin' pumped. Everyone I know wanted to see it multiple times. Everyone was excited for that scene in the Naboo hangar when the doors fly open and you see Darth Maul looking down. Oh my God, like I lived for that moment. We're going to see two fully fledged Jedi against a Sith Lord, and oh my God, did we get that? These choreographed fight scenes, it was just bam, 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 so quickly. And the tension between those energy doors where George separated Obi-Wan from his master. So the older master, who's not quite as quick as the young Sith apprentice, those two of those guys go at it, and you see Obi-Wan behind these timed blaster doors. He can't get through. He watches, and he knows what's going to happen. And then you see Qui-Gon die. And then, holy shit, does Obi-Wan and Darth Maul go at it in such a legendary fight. Incredible. The game I do. Jar Jar is in the band jam room in the basement. Darth Maul is in the art area. And Yoda is in our main TV room. I do. I still have, they've always been with me. Yep, I still have them. So let's talk about the bad. Okay, Jake Lloyd, he's cringy, bad actor. He's a kid. Give the kid a break. I mean, his life is in shambles, apparently, because of this. I don't know. It's just what I read. It's just what I see in interviews. He's been made fun of. He's been teased. He's been laughed at. He's a friggin' human being, for God's sake. He's an actor. He was hired to play a role. Okay? It's just a movie. I'm not yelling at you guys. I'm just saying it out there into the internet. He's just a kid, man. He's just an actor. Okay? I love the passion people have, but you do not have the right to attack somebody for a friggin' role in a movie that's not even real. You know what I'm saying? Like, give these guys a break. And I know what it's like to be in front of the camera. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. Could they have got someone who was a better actor? Sure. Whatever. I don't know. I didn't think he was that bad. Was he really that bad? I don't know. I thought Obi-Wan was great. Qui-Gon was great. Darth Maul was great. And, then Darth Maul got killed. And then the fans lost it. First of all, they didn't want to see Darth Maul on the packaging. And if you guys remember the toys, the action figures at the time, the Power of the Force 2 stuff came out, and it had Darth Vader, his helmet, in the top left corner of all the packages. Well, now, with the Phantom Menace branding, you had Darth Maul there. Well, everyone's back is up. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? This is not Darth Vader. Again, we're so, against any kind of change. Just relax. Then we find out this guy is not meant to take the place of Darth Vader. He's just he's a killer. He's raised by Palpatine. He's there to basically kill Anakin. And he dies. He doesn't do it. Bringing Darth Maul back was one of the stupidest things that could have ever happened. Don't even get me started on the robot legs and all that stuff. I mean, that to me is just, once again, George was still in control of Star Wars at the time, and that's him listening to the fans, which, no offense to any of us, I don't think he should do. He's a professional filmmaker. He should make his own decisions. But what other reason would there be to bring Darth Maul back other than the fans' outrage? The same reason that Disney brought Boba Fett back. Boba Fett was dead in the Sarlacc pit. And you know what was fun about Boba Fett? The mystery. Did he survive? Did he not survive? Well, Disney sure took all that away, didn't they? Yep, he survived, and you get to see it, and it's super boring. So, yeah, thanks for that. Pod Race was great. It was a little long. Yes. I liked seeing Chancellor Palpatine. No, you don't see Chancellor. You see Senator Palpatine. I like seeing the beginning of his career, or, not the very beginning, but how he was a politician. I like to see the Emperor in that role. I think it was great. One thing that I will stick by in all the prequels that I think sticks out like a sore thumb is Sam Jackson. A complete miscast. Sam Jackson should not be in Star Wars because he acts like Sam Jackson. I mean, you want to talk about someone who does not belong in Star Wars? I don't think Sam Jackson should be in Star Wars. I don't. And that's not, he's an incredible actor. But I think when you hire Sam Jackson, you get Sam Jackson. Photo Viper likes spider legs them all. There you go. He went to see the horrible movie Meet Joe Black. Hey, you can't make fun of Brad Pitt. I'm just kidding. You totally can. Yeah, I remember going to, I think it was Monsters, Inc. had the trailer for Revenge of the Sith. I remember we paid. I'm not a Disney like animated guy, right? So we didn't stay for it, but I remember paying $10 just to see the trailer for Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, no problem, Lilith. And again, I love Sam Jackson. One of my favorite roles ever is Jules in Pulp Fiction. But when you hire Sam Jackson, you get Sam Jackson. I don't know if that's just my opinion. Yes, I agree. The Mace character is integral to the Jedi Order. Yes, the casting I don't think was correct. Yeah, the Red Letter Media guys are awesome. I love Plinkett. I do his voice all the time. It's so fun. Yeah, they're spot on. If you guys don't know who Red Letter Media is, check them out. If you're a fan of films, they're the most honest dudes and they're so friggin' funny. Check them out. Anyway, okay, Phantom Menace, let's go. Let's go. Where are we going with this one? Where are we going? Where would you guys like to see the Phantom Menace? Chad is correct. No, he's fine. Don't worry. He's a big boy. He's probably doing other things. It's all good, man. He's fine. Servius says, I'm on the island alone. F. Chris with the A tier. Damien B. Where are we? Photo Viper B. The Gim with the B. Lilith with the A tier. Bill Ma, B tier. Den of Geeks says A. Thank you, Jeff. TK says B. Brandon says A all day. As good as A New Hope. Fight me. He means it, guys. He means it. Mo says B. Ginny with the A and Dragon Ball with the B. Nestor B. Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers says B tier. Okay, look. This is where she's going. This is where I think Phantom Menace belongs. I loved it back then. I still love it now. Does it have its cringy parts? Sure, it does. But let's talk Empire. You know what parts I'm thinking about. Luke and Leia and Han. That's a little weird. But we still love Empire, don't we? There's lots of cringy stuff about the Phantom Menace, but there's way more to like about it. Is it on par with The Force Awakens? Yep. Is it on par with Revenge of the Sith? Yep. Is it on par with A New Hope? I think, yes, I do. I put Phantom Menace in the A tier. I absolutely do. Mo says, those are fighting words, Brandon. Tough Nerd says A. Skyfall with the B. Hey, man, I don't think I said hi to you. What's going on? B tier, too much Jar Jar, says Eric. There is too much Jar Jar. I will agree with that. But I don't think the character of Jar Jar is terrible, but there's too much. And Liam Neeson's in it, man. A tier. Yeah, there you go. All Star Wars has cringy bits. Thank you very much. Moving on. 3 left. All right, speak good time as any. I just got to tab back, and we're going to do this real quick here. So the sponsor of tonight's stream is Bull Airs, and we're showing off the Luke Skywalker shoes. I'm going to do a quick unboxing here. This is, first of all, the amazing packaging that Bull Air gives you right here. Look at this. This just arrived today. Okay. I did take it out to take a look at it real quick. Packed real tight, guys. Okay. This is, oh my God, check this out. This is the Luke Skywalker shoe from Bull Airs right here in hand. Look at this beautiful custom shoe. And guys, the cloth here, I'm pretty sure this is the same exact cloth as Luke's cloak. It's the same color. We have Luke's green lightsaber here. What's really great, the little details he took from Luke Skywalker's costume to put on the shoe, including Luke's shiny black boots, where we have right there on the nose. Look at this. Luke's belt. Cool is that? We have the Return of the Jedi logo just underneath here. And by the way, look at that. Like the cloak, this actually moves up and down. This is like a friggin' toy review here. And Arabesh here in the Star Wars language, he put J. So thank you very much, Bull Airs. Guys, bullairs.com. You can get these bad boys right now. And I got to be honest with you, as much as I love these, I don't know if I want to wear them. I don't want to ruin them. These are awesome. There's your souls right there. Okay, we'll just watch the trailer really quick here again, and you guys can grab your shoes. Look at that. Look at that. Once again, that's there. Bullairs.com, guys. Check them out. Support those guys. They make amazing artwork, and these are art. Am I doing the Clone Wars movie holiday special? I am not. No. Sorry. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this one or not. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, was released in 1980. I was 5 years old, and this one I do remember in the theater. Regarded by many film critics as a perfect film, and Star Wars fans would also agree that this is pretty much a perfect film. Most people say that every beat in this is exactly perfect. Everything is done correct. What do you guys think? Brandon says, I never heard of this one. S tier, TK, easy. Let's save the rankings. Easy. Oh my God, look at everybody. Oh, Bill, S, the Gim, S tier. Eric says, thought we were going to save the best for last. Man, I remember the Hoth sequence in the theater when I was 10. People were going nuts. I mean, let's talk about some of the good parts. I mean, every part of this movie is good. The Hoth intro is legendary. Echo 3 to Echo 7. Hano, buddy, do you read me? It's iconic. Luke and Han working together, checking the perimeter for anything, just making sure that the rebels are hidden. They're hiding from the Empire at this point. It's also cool, too, because we're coming into this assuming that because the Death Star is destroyed, evil is vanquished. Even though we see Vader kind of escape, we think, I mean, I remember thinking, wow, the bad guys are gone. That's not true. Their space station, their big weapon is gone. But now they're pissed. Now they're hunting for the rebels. And in particular, Darth Vader is hunting for the rebel that destroyed the second Death Star. We come to find that, of course, they're related, and that's all great. Skyfall. Thank you, my brother. The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet. I kind of half impersonated that and kind of half didn't, so I'm sorry. Thank you, man, for supporting my channel. Much love to you. I appreciate it. We also get to see Luke in a lot of vulnerable states in this one. The middle of the hero's journey. The hero that was destined for something more. He wasn't allowed, according to his uncle and aunt, he wasn't allowed to go on this adventure. Circumstances happen. He gets thrown into this adventure, becomes the hero. This one, it's not Darth Vader that takes him out. It's just this ice creature. Boom, one hit. Doesn't even see it coming. All of a sudden, he's hung upside down. He's going to be food for this Wampa. He comes to bleeding, which I always thought was really cool, that Luke was always very vulnerable. You were always kind of scared for him, right? He's hanging upside down. He doesn't see anything except the lightsaber. We see Luke get to use the Force, try so hard, and he barely moves the handle. And then at the 0 hour, he pulls it up, cuts the Wampa. He's safe, right? Nope. Hoth is like negative 2 million, and he's out there now, and he's basically going to die. And then he hallucinates. He sees a vision of his mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And all Obi-Wan says, Obi-Wan doesn't have any fear that he's going to live. He just knows Luke's going to make it somehow. But he says, Luke, you've got to get to the Dagobah system. Here we go. Here is the plot of the trilogy forming. It wasn't formed in the first one, but now in this one, there's this bigger arc with the Jedi Knights. There's one Jedi left. He's going to train you. You're going to save the galaxy from an even bigger threat than Darth Vader. How can there be a bigger threat than Darth Vader? But there is. Han Solo is so, a little emotional. He's so wicked in this movie. Just you get to see the brotherhood of him and Luke and how they really are best friends. And one of the biggest crimes of the sequel trilogy, forget screenwriting, forget any of that stuff, is that us as viewers will never, ever get to see Han, Luke, and Leia together again. We never saw it in the sequel trilogy. We'll never get to see that again. That is the biggest crime that sequel trilogy did. Anyway, back to Empire. We get to see the brotherhood. We get to see the friendship of all three of them. There's a love blossoming between Han and Leia. Some parts of the trilogy that aren't flushed out. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. George did not know that Leia and Luke were sisters. That wasn't wrote. We're siblings. That was not wrote yet. I don't care what anyone says. Even George, I don't believe it, that he had this big arc wrote out from the beginning and Vader's father and all that stuff. I don't believe that, because there's no way he would have shot a scene where Leia kisses Luke so deeply as she does. Let's just make fun of that scene right now. Okay, there's nothing bad with that scene because the sister part was not wrote. I don't believe it was. Even Yoda says there is another. I still don't think they're talking about Leia to that degree. I don't think they were. They might have been. I don't think so. Even though she feels him and they talk telepathically at the end, I don't think that's what George had in mind at that point. Now let's talk about the Battle of Hoth. Wow. The rebels are in Echo Base. Okay, they're monitoring. They see this probe come. Han and Chewie dispatch it, but not in time. The signal gets out. Vader finds out where they are. All the Star Destroyers come, but that's not the real threat. The real threat we see as the viewer, just as little thuds where the camera will gently jolt down and you'll see little particles of snow fall from the ceiling. So is it an earthquake? No. Something's coming at them. What the hell's coming at them? And then we get that big wide reveal of the three AT-ATs slowly, very, very slowly coming at the rebels. And there's something about that is utterly terrifying. These are essentially skyscraper-sized war machines that are transporting stormtroopers, they're death troopers, to decimate the entire rebel base. The fact that they're coming at the rebels so slow is amazing. Well, they could have just brought down TIE. Yeah. Forget all that. Sure, of course they could have, but they didn't. They put the walkers down to slowly come at them as a fear tactic, because that's how Darth Vader ran the Galactic Empire. It is friggin' beyond perfection. It's something, as much as you guys look like Rogue One, that they cheaply tried to recreate in that movie and didn't even come close. And by the way, in Rogue One, what's with the wood block in the middle of the walkers? Because Gareth Edwards is like, oh, this is my version of the walker. I'll put a piece of wood in the middle. Get out of here with that stuff. Get out of here. Anyway, where were we? The fighters are dispatched to attack the walkers. Very shortly after they're dispatched, we figure out, oh, the blasters aren't going to do any good. They just bounce off the shields. They're not powerful enough to penetrate the armor. So the fighters are getting pinged down one by one. Boom, 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 boom. One of the greatest moments in Star Wars. You guys know that Luke's my guy. One of the greatest moments in all of Star Wars is when Luke, his co-pilot is killed, Dak is killed, the snowspeeder crashes down, and the walker, again, slowly coming at Luke. And I think he's trying to pull Dak's body out. We don't know exactly what he's doing or why he's taking so long to get out of the speeder. I always thought that he's trying to get Dak out, even though Dak's dead. Maybe there's a chance they could save him. I don't know. Back to tanks do wonderful things. He can't, so he has to leave Dak. The snow speeder gets crushed. All these rebels are getting shot, they're getting killed, and Luke, with just such precision and such, I don't know if leadership's the right word, such bravery, single-handedly goes and attacks an AT-AT by himself, cuts it open because he's thinking tactically, okay, well, they're not going to destroy it, but if I get up inside, I'm so small that there's going to be a little crack I'm going to be able to penetrate with my lightsaber, which he does, throws in a charge, destroys it single-handedly. Oh my God. Luke was cool before, but now he is like, he's so amazing. I'm pretty passionate about this movie. That's just the Battle of Hoth, okay? Let's get to Cloud City with this cool jacket. Bespin Luke, one of the coolest outfits in anything. I always said when I was a kid, I wished I could dress like a Star Wars character. Well, guess what? I do. And I friggin' love it. I love the fashion of Star Wars. Luke versus Vader. Is the fight clumsy? Some people think so. I think it's great. I like all the different styles of fighting in Star Wars and how this one, it's like, kind of a trained Jedi, but kind of not. He's impetuous. He's going against his mentor, who's Yoda. Yoda says, if you go, you could kill them all and you're going to destroy everything, which you fought so hard for, maybe. Luke doesn't listen to him. Luke's like, well, what if I don't go? Will they die? And Yoda basically says yes. And Luke's like, well, guess what, buddy? I'm not sacrificing my two best friends. I'm going to go there because at least there's a chance I can save them. And Yoda's like, well, if you do that, you might be killed yourself. And everything might be destroyed. But Luke goes anyway. That's what's so great about Luke Skywalker. His bravery is second to none. Okay? These are the lessons that I learned as a kid. That's why the character means so much to me, is because he cared so much for his friends. Bodily harm didn't even scare him. He goes against Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader. He faces him by himself, knowing Obi-Wan can't help, knowing Yoda can't help, knowing he's still got a blaster. He thinks, the blaster's going to do something, right? Like he still is carrying his blaster at first. Then he puts it away. He's like, oh, wait a minute. I have to use the sword that I just picked up 10 seconds ago. Like it's absolutely incredible. We meet Yoda, one of the greatest characters in cinematic history, puppeteered and voiced by the legendary Frank Oz, who you will know as the nameless cop from Trading Places. But all seriousness, he was so great, right? Then we get the reveal. Okay. There's a lot to talk about. I'm not going to narrate the film. We still have 2 to go after this. Okay. I'm not going to narrate the film. We get the big reveal. I ask you guys in the chat right now, did any of you guys see it coming? I mean, I know we're all pretty young then. Nobody saw this coming. That Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We all had the same reaction. And I was a friggin' kid, man. And I remember just being like, no. We all put ourselves in Luke's position, hanging to that pole. You're wounded. You're missing your hand. Your weapon is gone. You're basically going to die. And before you're going to die, the most villainous villain in the entire galaxy, villainous villain, the baddest villain, whatever, in the entire galaxy, before he kills you, he's going to tell you that he's your father. Like, that's insane. The only option is death or to join him and become the villain. So Luke dies. He falls. There's many theories as to what happens. I always believed Luke just would rather die than join Darth Vader. I don't think Luke thought he was going to survive that fall, but he was brave enough to just let it go. Who could do this? It's so incredible. Yes, he's his father. Did I spoil it for you, Nestor? I'm sorry, dude. Oh, man. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. The Empire Strikes Back is one of the greatest Star Wars movies of all time. Most of you, I'm sure, will say it is the greatest. I don't think it is the greatest. It's damn close. And it ends on a cliffhanger. I must admit, I don't remember when I was 5. From 1980 to 1983, that's a 3-year period. I don't remember sitting there contemplating if Vader was his father or not. I remember the adults back then were thinking, is Darth Vader really his father? Like, is this true or is this just a lie that he's trying to get Luke on his side? 3 years. Imagine that. Imagine we were young adults then. Maybe some of you were, and you had 3 years to go. And for 3 years, you're thinking in your mind, is that true or is that just a lie? That is such brilliant writing. And it's something that these younger writers, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, they've come in and they've tried to replicate, and you can't. Don't replicate something like that because you can't. No other movie in film history has been able to replicate that moment. In fact, that moment is the most misquoted line in all of cinema. I don't have any facts. I'm just making things up. But I know that people always say, Luke, I am your father. It's not the line. The line is, Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. And then Luke says, he told me enough. He told me you killed him. And then Vader says, no, I am your father. So there you go. The most misquoted movie in cinematic history. I don't have any kind of evidence to back that up. I'm just throwing it out there. But you know, all the TV shows and all the other mediums that continuously quote Star Wars, they always say, Luke, I'm your father. He never says, Luke, I'm your father. I just got to throw that out there. The illest villain, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to ask you because we all agree that this is at least an A-tier film. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm just kidding. Let me know what you have to say. Where should The Empire Strikes Back be? Then Luke screams, no. Yep. That's not true. That's impossible. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. No. It's perfect. It's perfect. S duh. Oh, Palpatine says S tier. TK says S. Mrs. Bartlett says S. Rob Vegas says S. Skyfall says S. Is there anything less than an S? Is there anything less than an S? Yeah, Lilith, that's great. Not one moment it doesn't stop. Yeah, they're constantly being hunted by the Empire. That's another great point. From the very beginning of the film, Luke's being hunted by the Wampa. They're always being hunted. They're always on the run. It's awesome. Again, Rian Johnson tries to recreate this in a soulless attempt with the Star Destroyers chasing. I don't even remember what the ship's called where they're trying to flee. The Empire Strikes Back. We will grade that one in a moment. In a moment. We're going to save that one. It's going to stay in limbo just for a second. You'll see why. So Empire right now is not graded. It is sitting right there. Where is Brandon? Where is Brandon? Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, was released in December 2018 to a very, very disappointed, enraged Star Wars fandom. There's never been anything, I don't think, in Star Wars hated as much as this film. And that's pretty much a fact. We can say we don't like Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett. We can say that we don't care for the Obi-Wan show. This is on a different level. This is pure hatred for a film. Now let's examine why that is. Oh, hold on, Brandon. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't throw tomatoes at the screen. Everyone, don't throw tomatoes at the screen. Lex is saying boo. Chris says sucked. Nestor, F. Get the F out of here. Feel like Rian Johnson is that guy people love to quote and say, oh, if I don't get his movies, you may not too lowbrow. Yeah, there's a bit of snobbery to him, and you can see that. That's very apparent in the behind the scenes making of The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson comes off as a snob. He really does. Bill, my buddy Bill is here. Bill and I have talked about the sequel movies a long, long time. Bill and I used to theorize as to what each episode would be about. We would go back and forth on Facebook. Wow. Yeah. Bill says, I loved The Last Jedi. Solid A, best of the sequel trilogy. Now, what's great about this is that there's only two types of people. You love The Last Jedi or you hate it. There's nobody that says it was kind of good. It was all right. There's not one person that will say that. I guarantee you it's either you love it or you hate it. Well, what's to love about it? Let's talk about that. What are the good points? Our expectations were certainly taken down. Some people say that's a good thing. All these characters are so legendary. They're built up in our minds so much that Rian Johnson cut them down. Rey. Who's Rey? Who's Rey's parents? What's her lineage? Is she a Kenobi? Is she a Skywalker? Is she a Greedo? Who knows? Rian Johnson says none of them. She's no one. She's just a slave girl. That's it. She's nobody. Kylo Ren worships Darth Vader, his grandfather, wants to be the biggest Sith Lord in the galaxy so much. Rian Johnson cuts him down too. We'll take away his helmet. Now he's just a boy. He's just a helpless boy with a scar who's been defeated. He's nobody. Snoke mocks him and makes fun of him. Finn. Well, I'm sorry, Finn. You were great in The Force Awakens, and they gave you nothing to do in this one. Literally. Rose Tico is your companion during this film. I think the adventure they go on Canto Bight is fun. It would be a nice little Star Wars short. I think it would be a fun short. I liked Canto Bight. I liked the casino planet. I thought it was cool. I did. It doesn't belong here. It doesn't belong in this story here. Poe, what does Poe do? Poe goes toe-to-toe with Holdo, who is a character that, once again, did not need to be in Star Wars. As much as Laura Dern's great, I have no problem with her at all. Her character, it's like a Grievous thing. It's shoehorned in. It makes no sense. This elaborate plan, and I can't even remember what's the plan. Like, they don't want to tell Poe the actual plan. What's the plan? I don't even know what the plan is, or I don't care about what the plan is. We didn't even talk about Hux. That's how little he matters. Who cares about Hux? Actually, I haven't even mentioned General Hux once yet. So, the other positives, okay. The throne room scene. I love the throne room scene in this film. Is it even close to the Emperor Luke Vader? Nope. Not even close. But I like it. I don't like Snoke, okay? But I like the throne room scene. I love how Snoke is mocking Kylo Ren, and Ren is so smart, he outwits him. turns the Skywalker blade, kills Snoke, and then the Praetorian Guards come in. And what happens? Those two go back to back in one of the best shots in Star Wars. It's slow motion. They go back to back, fight together. Oh my God. I swear, everyone I was with, we cheered. Rey and Kylo Ren have joined forces. That is friggin' amazing. Except it's not, because you just killed the big bad guy. So who are they going to join forces against who? Well, that's the problem. Now you have no big bad guy to fight. You've just killed Snoke. So now you get this awkward back and forth where you think Ren is with Rey, but he's just looking at the body of Snoke, being like, okay, I'm drunk with power. I have bloodlust. Rey, join me. Oh, yeah, you still don't know who your parents are. They were nothing. They're nobody. They're no one. And I remember being in the theater being like, what? What are you talking about? They're no one. She has the Force, man. They got to be someone, right? You can't just have the Force for no reason. Well, I guess you can in Rian Johnson's Star Wars. Join me, Rey. We can rule the galaxy. We've heard this a million times. And it's kind of cool. She's crying. She says, don't do this, Ren. In a moment, I thought was really great because she's like, don't do this because now we got to fight and you're going to go super bad guy mode and we don't need to deal with this. We can just end this war here. Don't do this. He doesn't. Let me get to the comments before we continue here. Story of Jake Skywalker. I don't know what that means. Throne room scene sucked. Fair. Tough Nerd says, so you take some red cardboard, have them fight together. Hey, man, that's fair. I thought it was great. I liked the red. The whole theme of the movie was red, and I really liked the colors in it. Even Crate, the planet, had the salt. I thought that was cool, too. And I liked how, as the throne room scene went on, you know, there was obviously lightsabers hitting the walls and stuff, that all the red burned down. It was kind of cool. Visually, I thought it looked good. You feel like Ren was a dollar store Vader. Well, Ren could have been a great character. I liked the idea of him fighting to not be good. It was the opposite of what we'd seen. How he obviously worshipped Darth Vader. He didn't believe in what Luke Skywalker was teaching him. He believed that Darth Vader was the way of things, and he worshipped his grandfather. And that was something that was totally thrown away by Rian Johnson. Do not misinterpret what I'm saying. I do not like this movie. There was a time, and Bill can attest to this, that I did. I really did like this movie. But after the Rise of Skywalker, I can't. So, things I would change. The fate of Luke, we'll get into that. We didn't even talk about the death of Han Solo, by the way, which I thought, honestly, him dying in The Force Awakens was fine. I thought him dying by his son was fine. But the death of Luke Skywalker was effing stupid. Because at this point, you're killing off the legacy characters for no other reason than to kill off the legacy characters, which is stupid. I didn't even understand at the end of The Last Jedi, guys. I didn't understand like if he was dead or not, because even the way he died was stupid. First off, the way it's edited. Okay, the way it's edited, Luke is on the rock floating, doing his like super force, you know, projecting himself to Crate. Okay, fine, I can get behind that. It's taking everything in him to do that. I can get behind that too. The way it's edited, at the end, Luke falls on the rock on his back. Cut to the next shot where he's off the rock and you just see his arm come up and he's pulling himself up. Like the editing is terrible. And I have a question for everybody in the chat. And please, someone answer this because I haven't been able to find an answer for this. Okay. Lilith, no, I don't like the way Luke was treated. Luke is dying or losing his physical body. He's becoming one with the Force, whatever you want to call it. And you kind of see the Tatooine suns, right? So, okay, he's seeing his home world. I get it. He's dying. But there's something in the sky. Do you guys remember this part? There's something in the sky. And they never explain what it is. Do you guys know what I'm talking about or what that part is? Super chat by the Gimme says, justice for Admiral Akbar. Amen, brother. Amen. Admiral Akbar, amazing in Return of the Jedi, right? He's friggin' great. It's a trap. Who doesn't love him? We don't even get to see him die. The Knights of Ren. I didn't even talk about them. You're right, Ketis. Like, they literally stand there in the Rise of Skywalker. They're so unimportant. I didn't even mention them because I forgot. The whole damn movie was a trap. Okay, so nobody knows. Okay, nobody knows in the chat what it is that Luke was looking at. So then Luke fades away. And I remember looking at my friend at the time, and I know that I should have had tears in my eyes. I knew that I should have been really sad, but I was more kind of confused. And I remember looking at him and I go, dude, did they just effing kill Luke? And he looked at me. You know what he said? Bro, I don't know. I was waiting for this beautiful moment where my hero had made the ultimate sacrifice. He was going to die. He was dead, and I was ready for it. But I visually couldn't make the connection. Even the music was so terrible. They didn't even do the John Williams Luke theme well, the Twin Sons. It was just kind of off. The whole scene was kind of off to the point where that moment was ruined. Like it or not, Luke died. That moment was ruined because I didn't even understand what happened. Wouldn't it have been better if Luke, you see the X-Wing on Octu under the water. She leaves in the Falcon. Okay, well, Luke's not going to get there. Wouldn't it have been cool that Luke rose the X-Wing in a moment like we saw at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, which was an amazing part for Luke Skywalker, and it made sense. But to see that X-Wing come and land right on Crate, and then him physically being there with his Jedi God powers to fight Kylo Ren, it would have been the most badass battle ever. But instead, we get this weird projection thing where he projects himself in blue gear for some weird reason with the Skywalker blade. And he's like a Just for Men, Mark Hamill dyed beard version of Luke. It sucked. And that fight was the worst lightsaber fight in Star Wars. Upon further inspection of this movie, there was a time when I went to bat for it, when I did like it. I can't stand it now. And it directly affected The Rise of Skywalker. And I think The Rise of Skywalker had good ideas, but love or hate J.J. Abrams, that's really irrelevant at this point because that poor guy had to clean up this guy's mess. Servius says F. All right, guys, get your grades in. Dragon Ball E. E is the humiliation tier. We all know that. It's worse than F, actually. Lilith says if Kylo killed Luke, that would have been interesting. I agree. It would have been very interesting because he killed Han. He killed Luke. It wouldn't have been great if somehow him and Leia faced off. I mean, they kind of did in Rise of Skywalker. She gets in his head to kind of distract him so Rey can take him out. I mean, that part's kind of cool, right? I don't know. I think if Kylo killed Luke, you would be like, oh my God, this guy is a real badass. But he got beaten by like a holographic projection of Luke Skywalker. And then let's not forget the training segments. I don't even really mention them because they're so laughable And what they did to Luke's character, the way he was wrote, we get that beautiful moment. I painted that picture for you guys. The end of the end of The Force Awakens, that beautiful moment where she's holding the blade to him, saying, "Save us, Luke, you're our only hope," right? And it's overcast, by the way. And this is very important during that scene. It's overcast. They have tears in their eyes. You can feel the emotion in Mark's face. You can feel it and see it in Daisy's face as well. Cut to the beginning of The Last Jedi where it's sunny out. And you want to talk about computer graphics. They couldn't have fixed that somehow. It's sunny out, which changes the entire mood of the scene. It's supposed to take place right at that moment. And Luke Skywalker throws it over his shoulder like he's Jack Tripper or something. In some kind of weird Monty Python humorous skit. It is the worst moment in Star Wars. I would rather watch Rogue One than that scene. That's how much I dislike it. You love the toss? I hated it. In context to what they built up in The Force Awakens, how important that moment was in The Force Awakens. Let's not forget, the whole point of that movie was whoever got to Luke Skywalker first won. If the First Order got to Luke first, they would kill him. Obviously, they would have. No hope for the galaxy. But if Rey and the Rebels got to Luke first, then they would have a fighting chance. It was so important, shaved down by Rian Johnson's garbage comedic bullshit that he did at the beginning of that film. That is worse than the holographic projection of Luke. That is the worst part of Luke Skywalker that they could have done. Yeah, it showed that he was done with the Jedi Order, sure, but he talks about that in Darth Sidious in the cave. They didn't have to physically show that. Like the comedic, he could have even looked at it and just dropped it, but he throws it like he's a clown or something. It's terrible. The Last Jedi is on the E tier. E, if you guys know, is worse than F. It's the humiliation tier. It's just, it's terrible. It's unacceptable. As much as I tried to defend it, I think if there was some connection to the Rise of Skywalker, but I cannot accept the mismanagement of the most important film franchise in existence. I can't accept it, and there's no excuse for Disney to make this many missteps. There's just no excuse for it. I need a drink. Brandon, I'm not going to say that, but that's hilarious. There you go. From the man himself. um uh, like how is it possible for a movie to move you so much? Like for me to watch Return of the Jedi, it's draining. Like I can't just put on Return of the Jedi. It's like an emotional experience for me. It's very much a religious experience for me. I have to be prepared to watch it. That's how much it means to me. You're going to see a lot of gushing here. And so for those of you who can't take it, I'm sorry, but that's just me. This is not only my favorite Star Wars movie, I think it's the greatest film in film history. It's my favorite film. It's my favorite movie. It has been since I saw it when it was released, Episode 6, 1983. And there's one reason for that, and that's Luke Skywalker. His character arc is so incredible in this film. He is the ultimate version of a hero. Take that how you will. For me, it doesn't get better than this. He goes from a farm boy doing a job he doesn't want to do. I can relate. Being forced to do something he doesn't want to do, to this great adventure that he's very afraid of, to learning about his past and how horrible his father is. And then ultimately, the only way to stop what's happening to the entire galaxy is to defeat his father. It rings home. I think it rings home for a lot of us. And that's all I'll say about that. There is one moment that is, it does it for me. Okay, let's go to the beginning of this film. We learn that we're finally going to get to see this emperor that has been pulling the strings. It's not Darth Vader's not the ultimate bad guy. We find out in The Empire Strikes Back. Actually, we find out in A New Hope. They mention the emperor really quick. Empire, we find out that Vader's got a boss. Oh my God. Vader has a boss. And we get to see this little guy. He doesn't look very threatening. No, he's kind of like Yoda, right? He's just little, decrepit old man. He's the most frightening character in all of Star Wars. We finally get to see him. And we find out that the Empire, they have all this money. They're going to build a second Death Star. What are you talking about? And I didn't think about, oh man, they're just copying A New Hope. Man, I'm a kid. I'm having a great time. I'm watching the third Star Wars movie. Don't give me all this film theory crap. I don't care. They're building another Death Star because you know what? This one's not going to have the weakness. And it's only half done. The Rebels are going to think it's going to be another 6 to 8 months to finish. But guess what? This one fires already. It's ready to go. At the end of The Empire Strikes Back, we all were torn for many reasons. We didn't mention Han being frozen, taken away by Boba Fett to Jabba the Hutt, where he owes Jabba a lot of money for God knows what. Han, we don't think he's dead. He might be not the greatest of shape, but we find out he's at Jabba the Hutt's palace, hung on the wall like a piece of art. Because that's just what Jabba does. He likes to torture people. He likes the gladiatorial combat, as we see in this movie. He likes to make a point. If you screw up, Jabba will make you pay. Jabba is one badass gangster. Ladies and gentlemen, not Boba Fett. Boba Fett is not a gangster. Boba Fett will never be a gangster. Fennec Shand should have been in that role. I'm just saying. Not Boba Fett. Anyway. So we come up with this elaborate plan. The first wave of this plan is simple enough. We're going to send in the droids with a nice, polite message from Luke Skywalker to Jabba saying, Jabba, I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight. Please give us our friend Han Solo back. He made some mistakes, but you know what? He's only human. Just for listening to this message, here you go. Take the droids. That doesn't work. All right. Plan B. We're going to dress up Princess Leia. By the way, we see the backstory of how she got the bounty hunter disguise in Shadows of the Empire, which is a fantastic story. She's going to pretend that she's captured Chewbacca, Han's first mate. Just as good, right? God knows what Jabba is going to do to Chewbacca, the first mate of Han Solo. But here you go. I've captured Chewbacca. Ooh, now we got Leia infiltrating the base. But even before that, the brilliant plan is already in place because Lando has been working for Jabba the Hutt. He's managed to get inside the organization like Storm Shadow, infiltrating Cobra for years to find out exactly how Jabba works and what he's going to do. So that allows Luke Skywalker to make a perfectly placed plan. This doesn't fail. That's fine. He's going to do this. That doesn't work. He's going to do this. He hates me so much and he hates Han so much that what he's going to do is he's going to take us to the deadliest pit in Tatooine and we're going to get eaten slowly because he's just that vile. He wants us to suffer. Luke knows all of this because he's got the mole in the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, how frigging perfect is this? That doesn't work. And this part I've never been able to figure out. Because when Leia goes to free Han and makes one hell of a thump, she had to have known, right? Taking him down. So I never really know. Maybe you guys know for sure if Leia was supposed to get caught during this part. I still don't know to this day. Regardless of that, she's caught. now she's a slave because Jabba's killed his last slave because she wouldn't kiss him. Can you blame her? So she's dead. Now Leia is the slave. Well, now we have the greatest scene in Star Wars. We just have the door rising of Jabba's palace. We see the sun just creeping in a little bit. And we see a cloaked figure slowly approach the camera. This gives me goosebumps every friggin' time. And we see Luke dressed all in black. Wait a second. What do you mean all in black? He's a Jedi Knight. Why is he all in black? And he uses Force choke on the guards to subdue them. I don't believe he kills them. Maybe he does. I don't know. But he uses Force choke. Wait a minute. Jedis don't use that? Interesting. He walks in by himself, single-handedly, without a weapon, because the only weapon he needs, except for the blaster, is inside R2-D2 already, because he knows what's going to happen. I don't know. He force pulls the pistol out. And he tries to shoot Jabba there. That seems pretty sloppy for me. I think Luke knows he was going to go in the pit. I don't think he knows that he was going to fight something that big. But he knows what was going to happen because he stands on it. And 3PO even says, hang on, you're standing on. Luke's not dumb. He knows he's going to go in there and fight something. I don't think he knows it's the Rancor. Who knows? Defeats the Rancor. The plan is coming together. The three of them, Chewbacca, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker, will be executed in front of Jabba the Hutt in this big party that he's having. This is the highlight of the entertainment. We got the bands going. We got everything happening. Execute them in the pits. This is one of the greatest moments in cinematic history. You're going to have to walk the plank like a pirate. How great is this? The nod to R2. R2's in place. The lightsaber comes up. All of us are on the edge of our seats, freaking out. Luke does his acrobatic flip, and then we get the John Williams score coming in. Oh, my God. Perfection. All hell breaks loose. All Jabba's guards are running around. What the hell is going on? Han's blind. Luke's a Jedi. What the hell is going on? It's chaos. It's perfection. It's perfection. Jabba the Hutt is beaten by Leia. Strangled to death. Very brutal. Killed. Boba Fett is killed. Supposedly. Allegedly. Three guys. Leia, Han, Luke, Chewie, Lando. Sorry, five of them, I should say, and the droids, they all get away. We go back to Dagobah. Yoda basically says, you've done more on your own than I could ever teach you. My time is done here. I'm done. Luke's like, well, then I'm a Jedi. No, you got to fight Vader. So, we're over the halfway part of the film. Now let's talk about the thing. Return of the Jedi gets nailed on the most. The Ewoks. I'm going to see some people, I'm sure, in the chat say the Ewoks ruin Return of the Jedi. The Ewoks are bad. Blah, blah, blah. They're a bunch of teddy bears. But do they really ruin Return of the Jedi? Really? If George had it his way, it would have been Wookiees. I think the Ewoks are great. I think it's the classic tale of the primitive force. It's just good overpowering the ultimate evil, right? In its most primitive form. You have primitive bears that are using spears and slingshots and catapults against an empire with armor and blasters. Is it unrealistic? I don't know. Is it? There's a small group of stormtroopers and soldiers down there against a ton of Ewoks. I don't know. Maybe it's a numbers game. Who knows? I think the Ewoks are great. I don't think they were overused like the Gungans. I don't think they overstay their welcome. A lot of them, if you don't like Ewoks, a couple of them get brutally murdered. So you have the battle. Basically, the idea is to take out this shield generator to allow the ships to come in and fly into the Death Star, because you can't use the old tricks. They've figured that out. They've patched that up. Now we have to go inside the ship itself, inside the battle station itself, into the center, destroy it, and fly the hell out of there before it blows up. Way more scary than the first Death Star run. So the stakes are already up there. In the meantime, Luke Skywalker knows that his position on the ground crew of Endor is going to give away their position. Okay, so he's like, I feel Vader. He's just over here. I got to go, because if not, everything's going to be lost. So once again, Luke Skywalker goes by himself to face Vader with zero fear. And now he's going to face Vader and the big boss, the Emperor. And, George does the famous, it's now famous through the prequels, Jedi and the prequels, where he cuts between the three. There's the ground battle, the space battle, and then the sword fight. This is the first time we see that, I believe. Yes, all three. So we cut in between the battle for Endor on the ground, the battle of the second Death Star in space, and the battle of the Sith versus the Jedi. And the throne room scene in Return of the Jedi, I don't know, legendary is not even a strong enough word for it. It's so great. And it's not even the physical sword fight between Vader and Luke. It's the psychological battle between Luke and the Emperor, the dialogue back and forth, cocky versus cocky, arrogant versus arrogant. And Luke thinks he's got a one-up on the Emperor, and he doesn't really until the very end. And let's talk about the end. Oh, the B-Wings are great. Let's talk about the end. So this is my theory, okay? I don't know if this is Star Wars fact or not. So if you guys know, please let me know. I believe the only way that Luke was able to truly defeat Vader was to give in to his hate. So Vader keeps poking at him. You suck, kid. You're nothing. You're never going to be nothing. You're a moisture farmer. He's just poking at him. Vader's like, dude, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to do it, because if I do that, I'm going to turn into the bad guy. The Emperor's going to take me by his side, blah, blah. So he won't do it. And he's like, well, really? Well, I can read your mind, and you have a sister, and perhaps I can make her turn. Luke flips. He gets so aggressive and angry, just like Anakin does, goes right at Vader, just annihilates him like he's nothing. The power that Luke has, because he flips to the dark side, that's just what I think. And then that moment when the Emperor says, good, your hate has made you powerful. Now take your father's place at my side. And then Luke, there's a great shot. Luke looks at Vader, his hand that's cut off and all the wires sticking out. And he looks at his own robotic hand and does this. And he's like, oh, crap. Throws his lightsaber away once again, knowing he's about to die. Does it get any better than that? So Luke again sacrifices himself like he did in Empire Strikes Back, because, instead of turning into a Sith Lord, it's absolute brilliance. I could see how there would be more people that like Empire, because there's a lot of guys. Like, I did a poll on my Star Wars page that I used to have years ago. Who's better, Han or Luke? And it was like 50-50, right? But I could see, especially in Empire, everyone loving Han so much, right? For me, it's always been about Luke and Luke's story arc, and it ends beautiful in Return of the Jedi. Vader turns back to the good side, dies in the process. Luke gets to see his father for one final time. It's absolute brilliance. I want to share something with you guys. It's my most prized Star Wars possession. I have two, actually. I want to share these with you. We're family now, right? You guys, those of you who I have on social media, I shared this today. This is from 2016. A very terrified Jay Bartlett meeting his idol, Mark Hamill. This was a life-changing moment for me. to being able to meet one of my heroes, and to meet Mark Hamill's pretty rare. He doesn't go to cons a lot. He doesn't always go to cons. And this is the first time he was ever at a Canadian con. So this picture here. But even more than that is what's in this frame here. So this is my original 2 passes to Return of the Jedi from 1983 that my grandma won from CJBK 1290 radio station. Look how high class these things are. So this is what it looks like folded up here. This is what it looks like open. So it says, you and a guest are invited to attend Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Tuesday, May 24th, 1983, the Park Theater on Dundas Street here in my hometown. So I just wanted to share that with you guys there. This is my favorite thing in my whole collection for Star Wars. My grandma and my mom went to see Return of the Jedi. And, you know, God bless my mom. You know, she saved absolutely everything that we ever did together. For me, you know, and this is just me. The Empire Strikes Back goes on the A tier. It is a perfect film, but it's not my perfect film. My perfect Star Wars movie, and there can only be one, is Return of the Jedi. I know a lot of you are not shocked by this because I talk about Return of the Jedi all too often. I thought it was only fitting doing this list that we would only put one on the tier list. Sorry, I was tabbed out there. So we put her up there. Empire is on the A tier. That's why I saved it, because I wanted to do Jedi last. I would agree with Neil here. I agree. Realistically, they're both S. Just for the sake of this, I wanted to put just one on. And because Return of the Jedi it means so much to me. Yep, CJBK, the old radio station. Yep. It's on the S tier. There you have it. What do you guys think? I got to tell you right now, that was so much fun. You guys are a wonderful crowd, and your participation has just blown me away. I love the interaction with you guys. You're very vocal. You're very passionate about what you love, just like I am. And I really, really do appreciate you guys being here and sharing in this very special day, you know, for all of us as Star Wars fans. Regardless, I don't like the new stuff as much. I've been very vocal about that, but that doesn't mean that we don't like Star Wars, right? We don't have to consume absolutely everything. That's okay. I want to thank each and every one of you who donated to the channel with a super chat. Once again, you're helping me further my career on YouTube, and I can't thank you guys enough. Everyone for hanging out tonight. It's been a 3-hour stream. It's been so much fun. I hope you've enjoyed yourself as much as I have. I'll be live tomorrow for coffee. We got a big day. Coffee streaming. Chad and I will be doing G.I. Joe 1982 at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. You guys don't want to miss that. G.I. Joe figures 1982. It's going to be killer. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. I can't thank you enough for the support. I mean that, okay? May the Force be with you, and we'll see you